Because you've got powerful legs. How'd you get the physique? Was it gym or how'd you get the physique?
I've always been...
She's actually not got powerful legs. Do you shower in your dressing room? Do you have a shower on the day of a fight or not? Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
That's your knowing or mine.
Move him out of here, Darren.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual slavery.
I never said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing, nutters, messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome, everybody, to the 563rd edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse. Glad to be part of the Sports Social Network. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and all their stuff. Wherever you can find a podcast, we're probably there. Maybe even with that dreaded E mark next to us for explicit, because we're dirty and against the grain, against the status quo, and all that other crap people like to say. Anyhow, with me today, Steve Wellings, Andy Patterson. I'm your host, Matt DiGianardo. Happy to be here this week, back from Puerto Rico. Maybe we'll get into that later. What we'll get into right now was what I would call an epic card coming from Saudi Arabia that started around 8 o'clock a.m. my time and wrapped up somewhere around 5:30 my time, I believe. It was not for the faint of heart, but there was some good stuff mixed in there. Of course, topping the card, Anthony Joshua with 3 knockdowns in 2 rounds with Francis Ngannou, the last one being one final shot to finish the show and take out Ngannou, knocking him unconscious. Steve, good work from Joshua. Did what Fury couldn't do. Definitely brings in some more questions about what shape Fury was in for that fight, how seriously took it. But from the opening bell, basically, Steve, Joshua dominating, throwed that little just kind of push out right hand, knocked down Ngannou in the first round, then some overhands in the second round to finish the job. I mean, he really looked like $1 million, at least compared to how Fury looked.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely did. One thing I will address just quickly, I see the boys putting it in the chat there, and I did see it in sort of casual chat groups over the weekend about people saying that the final shot was like a dive or something from Ngannou. Apparently, I never... I must admit,
that was his spirit diving out his body, mate, to get the fuck out the road of the shot. That's what it was.
I never entertained that myself. No,
he might have had a dream that he dived and hit the bottom of the pool.
But that isn't even the craziest shit I heard. I'll tell another one before it slips out of my head. But amongst all the Ryan Garcia shit, one podcast, I can't remember what it was like a YouTube thing, suggested that the whole Ryan on the Twitter Spaces and all the stuff he was coming off with, he'd just done it on purpose to try and hype up the pay-per-view sales. And I'm thinking, if you're on the fence about buying Haney Garcia or any of these big shows, and then you're hearing Ryan coming on Twitter Spaces talking about going into the woods of Bohemian Grove and having all these god-awful things done to him, if that Matty is going to push you over the edge to buy the pay-per-view, if you're undecided at that point, then you need to seriously examine yourself, man.
Yeah, it's like, I just don't know if I want to buy this or not. Garcia says he was raped when he was 2. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm in. I'm in.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, back to the matter in hand. I don't think the big fella dived, to be honest. But as for Joshua, he did what you're supposed to do against this level of opponent. He stood off at first. He was cautious initially. I don't mind that. He just had a little look at him, got the jab going, looked at what Ngannou had to offer, and then as soon as Ngannou turned southpaw, he pounced. And one of the key factors, I think, that Fury didn't do, what Joshua did, is he didn't allow Ngannou to grow in any kind of confidence. Got stuck straight into him. I love that finish. It just showed killer instinct. The man was hurt. AJ jumped straight on him, laid him out cold, exactly what was needed. And I was writing an article on my Substack on Saturday that AJ had kind of saved boxing's skin, saved boxing's blushes, which is kind of true because the sport could not afford another slip up. The longer this fight went on, if Joshua was to look bad, then the whole sport looks bad, really, with Ngannou coming over from a different discipline. And I know we'll talk about
ridiculous. I mean, it was it was like seeing Usyk go over into MMA and almost submit John Jones. It's just it was when Ngannou knocked down Fury. It was not a good look on the sport. And yeah, I mean, great on Joshua for just preserving some sense that the sport we love is actually difficult.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just come over and do what you want. Embarrassment, shame, humiliation, all that. Not even mentioning Eddie Hearn. But as I was saying, we'll talk about it later, but the Joshua win now over Joseph Parker is looking better with age. Few other wins, performances as well, looking better with age. And for Joshua, I commend his motivation as well. I was thinking about this while I was watching the show, all frigging 9 hours of it, as Andy mentioned earlier. You know, all that money in the bank. He's got a lot of fame. He was knocked out by Ruiz, dominated by Usyk in the first fight, did better in the second, still lost it. He's shown a lot of mental steel, really. I know he has all these demons, and he tried to go on a rant again on Friday night, and Addy, I think, is the interviewer, did his best to keep hold of that microphone. He wasn't going to let him wander off into all these strange states of consciousness.
Steve, I'm kind of glad that he did. So it just tells us it's like not in defeat where Joshua's just, an oddball. He's just kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, well, he's a faux philosopher, but he's shown a lot of mental steel for all of his demons to come back from the things that he's gone through in the ring and all. The problem is he wants the winner of Fury versus Usyk, and I don't think he beats either of those guys. I think stylistically, Usyk's already beat him over 24 rounds. Fury as well, switched on, is all wrong for him. And as for Ngannou, I think his fight with Fury gave us a false interpretation of his skill set and also of his limitations. Yes, he's physically strong. He's awkward. He's a problem. How good is his defense? We didn't know. We saw on the weekend. We heard all week. He's never been put down. He's never been hurt in these 4-ounce gloves or 2-ounce gloves, whatever the MMA people use. Well, he got knocked out absolutely cold. So there you go.
Yeah, and well, we'll get to that in a second. Andy, I was thoroughly impressed with AJ. I just thought he held his own. He saw the shot. He found his moments. And afterwards he gave credit to Ben Davidson and the Ben Davidson Fitness Center. And I got to tell you, I mean, I think this is a good combination with these two. I know we've given Ben Davidson a lot of flack for this, that, and the other, but I think Joshua has looked better under Ben than he has in the last 3 years, 4 years.
I think he's looked better, mate, since probably the best he's looked since he left probably McCracken, who really was the one that kind of taught him up through the amateur system and that, and then obviously he kind of then supposedly took a back seat as he turned pro, but eventually then came in the corner and that. He's been flipping between trainers and he seems to have kind of settled on one at least. And that, who, to be fair, I think Davidson's just basically kept it simple with him possibly and just told him, look, listen, you're a big dude, you go straight shots, put them together and, just see where the chips fall. And to be fair, as Steve mentioned that, it saves boxing blushes to a point, in my opinion, but see, at the same time, let that be a reminder as to what can happen when someone who isn't a fully trained boxer, I know he's a combat fighter, right? So there's probably evens itself out a wee bit, but he's not a fully trained boxer, right? And something like that can happen. You're seeing it with these YouTubers, you're seeing it with other types of fights and that as well. Somebody somewhere is going to end up, we saw it, but he got badly knocked out, but someone could end up getting badly injured. And we just got to maybe mention that as well. But off the back of it as well, it's just a money grab, really. And I expected Ngannou really to be kind of to go a wee bit
But if
longer.
someone
But he
just
was,
gave me
he was,
$50 million to do that,
mate,
Andy, well, fuck, I'll grab that cash all goddamn day.
he started no bad actually, and then as I say, once he got chinned with that first shot that put him down, and that was really it. And you said as well, once he stepped forward and started putting the gas down, and that was the end. It didn't let him get his cell reset or anything like that. And I loved the camera action when it cut to Fury. Actually, when you seen Eddie like basically sprinting to the ring like he did against Frotch against Booty, and you got Fury sitting there like fucking hell, and then he's like having to clap his hands with His Excellency and with Frank. But it was a marathon as well, as you mentioned, 9 and a bit hours, man. I mean, it was really questioning the stamina involved as well. But
I bought the pay-per-view right before I left for work, and I got back from work, and I was able to watch the last 4 hours of the fucking
Christ almighty. I mean, I think the prelim started at 3 o'clock our time. I think the main event didn't start till at least just a wee bit after midnight, possibly. So
the lucky thing for the Brits who went and attended the great thing for those that went and attended the show, though, Andy, is it ended late, but at least they didn't have to worry about catching a train back home. The transportation sounded far better in Saudi Arabia.
Aye, we're waiting.
You can take Frank Warren out to UK, but he always gets you in the end, doesn't he? No matter where he is in the world.
But the thing is, they had a lot of dead air in that as well. They had, I forget what fight it was. It might have been the McGann fight. It was the early knockout, and then they spent like the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes just filling dead air. I don't know if His Excellency had to go for a shite or something like that. I don't know what it was.
They just needed people pissing in the beer cans and stuff, Andy, and then it might as well have been at the copper box.
My body's lying in the in the gangways and stuff.
I think the folks, if they're organizing it and trying to time it down, I think that either one or both of these happened, and that they thought that Ball was going to stop Vargas, or that Zhang and Parker was going to end in a stoppage, and it just that kind of caught him with an hour and 15 minutes of surprise.
Yeah, but I think I said last week I expected Josh would possibly get stoppage, but I think it was going to be late. But once, what did you say? Once he started landing the power shots and that, obviously the confidence is up. You've seen the way that Ngannou went down off that first shot. He went down heavy, and you could tell it when he got up. That the legs just were not solid enough. And you mean he's 40? What is he now? He's 40. What? 41, 42-year-old.
Ngannou? No, he's 37.
Well, it's still fair age, I suppose. But fair play to him in that he's cashed out. I was just as in the build up to the fight, because it was such a long night, and that I was actually going through some of the rankings. I actually didn't know that WBC actually put him in the top 10 rankings after that Fury fight.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolute fucking clout chasing wankers, man.
Yeah, he fucking came close to beating the heavyweight champion of the world. I don't know where you should put him, but you got to put him somewhere.
Well, after a defeat?
On his back?
I'm talking about when Ngannou fought. Beat Fury. He almost beat him. You put him down. The scorecards were close. You got to put him in somewhere based on that performance. He ran him as close as anybody really has. That wasn't Wilder putting him on his ass. So I don't know. I'd like to kind of see him stick around and see what he could do against regular kind of contender levels. Like, what would you guys think about Ngannou versus Andy Ruiz? Get fat Andy off the fucking couch.
I think fat Andy would make him look silly, to be honest. He's only here for these kind of novelty fights, isn't he? The Fury one was a bit of a swing, literally.
Yeah.
Managed to get the knockdown and put himself into the stratosphere. If he could have fiddled Joshua around for a while as well, then he would have got another opportunity. People talking about him fighting Wilder. Well, look at Joshua's right-handed to him. Although saying that, Wilder couldn't cock the right hand whatsoever against Parker. But no, I don't think they'd put Ngannou in any of these lesser fights against Ruiz. Be too dangerous without having the name value, if you know what I mean, Matty.
I'd agree with that as well, Matty, because you can see the point as well. See, after the Fury fight, how quick was he hearing out with that offer for Ngannou to fight Joshua? Let's wait and see what kind of offers he gets now moving forward. I doubt he's going to be getting these 10, 15, $20 million offers to fight Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia.
I don't know if it's going to be that high, but they're still going to offer him 7 figures.
I don't know, mate. He's been badly knocked out there. Badly knocked out.
Hearn knew the score, man. For once, he was clever, wasn't he? He jumped on the bandwagon straight away. And he had an inkling that he was going to get destroyed, and that was the one-off, and he built, off the back of that. And
again, not to defend Fury, but Fury has always been his own worst enemy. If he isn't switched on or on the ball when that shit like that happens, and that's what he can come a cropper like that. He gets cut clowning about whatever it is, and that doesn't take it serious. There was allegations before the fight and that he hadn't. He'd been in camp, but it wasn't like a proper training camp. It was simply just basically ticking over allegedly and making weight or keeping the weight down or whatever it was and that. But
Fury, if I was Fury, I'd be worried about the fact that, I mean, he's cutting camp again. He's been getting cut in fights. I'd be worried about just how easily he's getting cut.
Have you seen the videos coming out?
That thin liquor skin, man.
Well, man, have you seen the videos coming out of Saudi the last couple of days before the weigh-in or the day of the weigh-in?
What, where he had a little something on his shirt?
Well, dude, that's we've heard that. Well, I've heard stories as to how people, we'll say Mike Tyson, for example, can get his hands on weed over in Saudi Arabia, right? So if Uncle Mike can get his hands on stuff, I'd imagine others can get their hands on stuff if they need it. So it doesn't look good anyway, put it that way.
No, it doesn't. But that said, if he can beat Usyk after abusing cocaine, that's a pretty incredible feat.
Aye, but you still have to beat Usyk, mate. That's the thing.
That's true.
And I say
he's sober, man. Have you not seen all the videos? Tyson Fury motivation: never drink alcohol.
I just think Matty as well. Just think Matty. See what happened to Serrano last week with the hairspray running into her eye. Fury can't use that excuse to kind of get out the Usyk fight.
Fucking bald bastards, right? Feel his pain. Feel his pain. Anyhow, Jamie throwing in 199 saying, "Welcome back, Ty and Booth. Knockout Chaos and Dudley. Yeah, well, good for Ty and Booth, but we do appreciate the 199, Jamie. Very much so. We also appreciate Mr. Jason Chuckwoo for coming aboard here. Jason, I'm sure you want to voice your opinion on AJ. Have at it, sir.
Yeah, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, man. I was in a pub, like a shisha lounge in Bexley Heath called like 2-5, and I was watching. I was on the way home. I was at a bus stop, and I just saw, oh shit, the fight's on, and then they said to get in, you have to pay like £2.50 for a JTO, and that was like the cheapest drink, so I just paid that. Watched about the last 7 rounds of Parker Zhang. Parker got dropped, but he did. I can't believe how Parker's came back. It's amazing. It just shows you like it's not over till it's over. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then I just watched the main event, and I was watching the first round, and Ngannou's footwork as well. If even someone was talking to me saying that when you saw the first 30 seconds, you just knew Ngannou was going to get stopped quickly. Then I missed the first knockdown because just outside the shisha down, someone got beat up because apparently they beat up a girl allegedly. Some craziness in there, but I don't know. And then I just missed. Basically missed the rest of the first round. I saw the other knockdowns. It's like, yeah, Joshua's back, but you have to be honest. I mean, Ngannou's his second fight, but like you lot said, Fury was on coke, innit? So he didn't take. And when Fury is not in a big fight, he looks like shit, innit? So what happened? Hearn did what he did, jump on the bandwagon.
Well, he's about to be in a big fight, Jason. It's the biggest fight of ever. If he can't stay fit and on focus now, when can he?
I know, but when you got addiction, like me, like I got my gambling addiction, porn addiction, like with Fury's got coke addiction, and when it's hard, it's really hard.
I know, I appreciate that.
Well, I think for the Usyk fight, he's going to take it seriously. But the thing is, I'm worried about if Fury wins, is he going to duck Hrgovic? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like because Fury, if it's not a big fight, he's not motivated. That's what pisses me off. Wow. If Usyk wins, will fight any cunt. Them Eastern Europeans, them man are serious. Like I always say, they brought white guys back in the boxing. So
I think if Usyk wins and they don't have a rematch clause in there with Fury, and it's they want it enough because they'll make money, I think Usyk retires. I don't think he keeps fighting
so?
100%. 100%.
I know. I know he's getting on. He's getting old as well. When he's getting on as well, but he gives off that mentality. Yeah.
I just I just get the feeling that he's going to call it, because what's next from a trilogy with AJ and when he's already won the first 2 fights? I don't know. Yeah, maybe if Wilder can get a good win coming out of it again. I don't know that anyone is banging at the door for him to be fighting Parker. If Zhang would have beaten Parker, maybe that fight has some legs. Hrgovic, you mentioned him. He's a dark horse in the division. Nobody really seems to want to fight him. An underrated fighter, 100%. But yeah, I just see Usyk retiring after this. I just don't see any purpose for him, because he's going to make good money on this. You got to be thinking everything cleared, he's going to be putting $20-25 million in his pocket.
Yeah, this for the lineal and undisputed. Like this is the first time since Lennox and Evander Holyfield, like when I was in that reception. in it. So like the lineal and undisputed, like this is the man. This is for everything. It's the whole shebang,
So,
isn't it? So it's like
so you're saying
the
it's going to end
motivation
in a
after this.
saying it's going to end in a controversial draw then?
Where's the fight? It's taking place in Saudi, right?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Lewis vs. Holyfield. That first fight ended in a draw. You know,
Oh yeah,
a
it did, didn't it?
horribly
Yeah, everyone says
tried
Lewis won.
draw. And then Lewis, you know, he proved it in the rematch. But yeah, that
I
would.
don't know, but like
that would
if anyone's going to get shafted, it'll be Usyk because he's from Ukraine, and I'm sure Saudi are cool with Russia. You know, what I mean, I think that's how it's going to be. Like, and I've seen the Saudis chill with Tyson Fury, so I'm guessing that Usyk might get shafted.
I don't know about that entirely from that perspective because
Or maybe I'm thinking too much, and I'm thinking.
Well, I don't know.
That's always been your problem, Jason.
Well, you're thinking, but I think that Russia and Saudi Arabia kind of see each other as competitors in the energy market. So I don't know that relationship is that firm, especially with Iran being cozy with Russia, you know.
I hear that, and I'm really into politics right now. I don't even like. I know what's it? Israel's beefing what's that country called? Syria, but like I know they've always been beefing, but this new little beef that's been going on, I'll be real, I don't know too much about it. I don't know what's going on with Assad and all of that. I hear a bit, but like I'm not really in the loop. And I want to hear the truth from someone, but people got their agendas, isn't it? Like I've got family members who say, "Oh, back Syria," but like
we've got an agenda. Stick to the boxing.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing as well? Yeah, I know. I go off topic. Can I just say one thing? Can I say one thing?
Go ahead, Chuckwu.
What Femi's done is he's brought boxing back into like it's not a joke, it's a serious thing because like you gotta understand, Tommy Fury went 12 rounds with KSI. KSI was probably in private school in Watford when Tommy Fury started as an amateur, and for him to go 12 rounds, like it's like it don't look good on boxing. Same thing with Jake Paul, man's a YouTuber, or Logan Paul, whichever one, he's their YouTubers, and yet Tommy Fury went the distance with them, man. So like, what does it say about the sport? And then Tyson Fury, the lineal champ, got dropped by a guy who's had his first ever fight, no amateur, no white collar, nothing. So like we got Femi's like he's brought the sport back into a good like light, innit? Like I'm not really good with words, but you get what I'm trying to say. But can I just say one thing? Froch and Johnny Nelson, a bunch of fucking pagans, because when Femi was on the Sky, they were dick riding him all day long. Oh, he's better than Muhammad Ali, this, that, and that. But as soon as he fucks up to the zone, oh, he's a shit. They're chatting shit. Froch is a cunt. I see why you lot don't like him as well. He's a complete dickhead because he switches sides like a female. Me, I don't switch sides. Like I always say, free R. Kelly to the end. I stay low. But Froch and Nelson, they're like women. They switch sides. That's what I got to say. I'm out.
Are you still Team McCauley, Jason? Are you still Team McCauley?
I know, but you know what he did wrong? He didn't earn with Hearn. He left Hearn, and that's why his career's fucked, isn't it? So earn with Hearn.
Yeah.
Hearn is the best promoter since Don King.
If you're not with Matchroom, there's no fights for you.
Exactly.
Anything else?
I think I've said what I needed to say in it. I'll be rambling all day now. I've shot my load balls.
Nothing else?
I have in it.
Nothing else before we let you go, Jason?
Nah, man. I've said what I need to say in it, man.
No worries, my man. You take care of yourself, and we'll catch you next time around. All right.
All right then. Yeah.
You got it. Take care, buddy.
Bye, Jason. Bye.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see who else hopped on the call here with us. Hamed.
Yeah.
Yes, guys. How's it going? It's been a long time.
Yeah. When did you come on with us? A couple months ago, maybe.
The last time I was on was after AJ Pulev. So how many years?
Oh, that's even longer.
We had Ahmed on before. This is Hamed, not Ahmed.
God damn it! I'm going dyslexic here.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was impressed with AJ's performance, but I personally think some people are going a bit over the top because, like, I've seen people saying he should be ranked number 1 or 2 as a heavyweight, but then you compare his last 4 opponents to even someone like Joseph Parker. I don't know how you could rank him higher than number 3 because he has beaten Parker, so fair enough. I could rank him number 3 or 4, but he's been fighting guys like Kalenius, Franklin, NGANNOU, and Otto Wallin. Meanwhile, Parker's got 2 wins over Wilder and Hrgovic. And even though he lost, he had a tough fight with Joyce. I don't know if AJ beats all those guys if he fought them instead of the recent opposition. Like, I do think AJ's improving, and it looks like he's got his maybe mojo back and he's in a better place mentally, but I need to see more before I start saying he beats Usyk in the third fight. Like, because I've seen some people saying he would win the third fight. With Fury, I think Fury's hot and cold. So I have to see how Fury looks against Usyk. But even still, I'd still think Fury would be a favorite. Like, do you guys still think Fury's a favorite, or
He's with the books. He's still barely a favorite, but it's been tightening up. It has absolutely been tightening up with the odds makers. So
see, be honest. See, because of the recent shenanigans and all the outer ring ledge stuff that's supposed to be going on. I think people are getting kind of a wee bit kind of tired and fed up with it, that they're kind of maybe seeing that it's maybe kind of there's a good chance, you know. You don't hear much for USYK, like, you know, he's just basically quiet in the background, seems to be kind of working away. Fury, on the other hand, I don't know. I really don't know. There's well, no,
Fury definitely was nowhere near 100% because
for the NGANNOU fight.
Yeah, because if he was, then that's a worry. Like, because after how NGANNOU looked last night and how Fury looked in that fight, and then against guys like Wilder, even Dillian White, like, I don't know if he trained for that fight because he was very heavy and like his demeanor after the fight and before the fight was off. AJ may have his number because I thought after AJ beat Klitschko, I thought AJ may have been the only guy to beat him back then. I know a lot of people thought Wilder might beat him, but I thought if he could take Wilder's right hand away, I always favored Fury. Like, I still want to see AJ and Wilder fight. Do you guys agree or not? Because I posted that on Twitter, but some people are saying
AJ Wilder.
I want Wilder. I think Wilder needs a good W at this point.
That's
in time
the thing. He needs to show that he's no like you know, he's still living off the LSD treatment that he had whenever it was.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, exactly. He came back in that ring after God knows over a year, and then he done nothing. You were waiting for him to kick off, man, but he done nothing in the entire fight. So as Matty says, he needs to pick up a big or a decent one.
No, but the reason I agree with that, he got to be more active. But him and Ruiz have been way too inactive. But just look at Parker's fight in Zag, and then it seems to me like Eddie Hearn's just gonna try and make AJ fight all of Fury's former opponents because the guy I'm hearing they may put him in with is Dillian White. Like, I would rather see the Wilder fight than a Dillian White rematch. I don't know what you guys think about that, but if it's not Hrgovic, I don't mind the Wilder fight because I can't think of any other options.
I would be sticking with like said Joshua, Fury or USYK, or who was the other heavyweight? Well, Parker obviously is now back in the picture, which is a bit of a shame.
I'd like to see Parker against Hrgovic. I think that's a.
Well, you got Hrgovic there as well, obviously, but I just wanted to see Zhang do something different, just to see something fresher at the top end, because other guys have had their chance. Quickly looking at the rankings, Dubois still trying to do the build up. Jared Anderson's a bit of a mess just now, getting arrested outside the ring. Martin Bakoli's waiting for a phone call. Hrgovic, as Matty mentioned,
no
might be
kidding.
Okay.
Martin Bakoli just kind of sitting out there in the
number
wilderness.
one.
That's crazy, isn't it, man? The lack of opportunities, and Hrgovic as well, man. I mean,
wasn't that motherfucker out there trying to raise money like through a GoFundMe or something like that? Like then can't get a title fight. Throw me some bone here. Hang on.
You've got Justice Huni getting stretched a little bit there on Saudi card, and you got Frank. You're coming down the list of Frank Sanchez and Agit Kabayel, Ajagba. Guys at that level,
it's a more interesting division than I think people give it credit for. Ant B says Wilder versus Konoski. Like, at this point in time, I think I take Andy against Konoski.
Konoski just got knocked out by some gentleman, I'm pretty sure.
Is that him? The Polish guy got knocked out in one round? He got knocked out off Hellenius and that?
No, after that, recently, by some gentleman on a PBC
undercard.
He got stopped by Hellenius 2 fights in a row. Then he got stopped by Joe Cusimano, and then he got stopped by.
He got stopped last week off somebody. It was last week or the week before. He got iced. He got stopped in one round. It was a fucking mercy stoppage against the ropes.
Yeah, that's not a good fight.
No. Mate, I don't think any fight's good enough for Wilder at this point, mate. I mean, as I say, I've mentioned the names there. Outside of the top 3 names, I agree. I don't know who you'd pick, to be fair.
Ruiz or Zhang, especially.
Ruiz isn't even ranked, mate. Ruiz isn't even fighting.
It doesn't matter. He has name recognition. He has a win over AJ. So, again, I would Wilder against either Ruiz or Zhang, I think, is a necessary fight for all 3 involved if they want to prove some relevancy to move forward.
Just on that Polishman, that wasn't a journeyman, by the way. That was undefeated pro. That Polish guy knocked out Kodnaki.
Yeah, that was a bad knockout. But Zhang has a rematch clause with Parker, and Fury and
Does he?
Usyk. Fury and Usyk also have a two-way rematch clause. And according to Fury, with Ariel Hawani, he was saying it don't matter like what happens in the first fight. That's a two-way rematch clause. So the reason I mentioned Wilder, I agree. If he can't fight Hrgovic or any of those guys like Zhang, Parker rematch or was it Fury Usyk, then yeah, Caballero is not a bad opponent. Or the guys you mentioned like Bakoli, those are good opponents. But I don't know if they would take that risk. Like the Wilder fight is still a big fight, and I think that's like a winnable fight. I just don't want to see the Dillian White rematch. Like, that's a fight.
I'll tell you what, Hamed. I think Wilder against Bakoli. I don't think it would happen, but I couldn't see Bakoli turning it down. The guy's trying to dig up funds on GoFundMe with that Saudi money bouncing around. He's not going to turn down that payday.
What about Bakoli AJ though? Could you see that happening? Bakoli, I know the sparring partners, but would that
Too
be a fight?
dangerous. Risk reward in it at this stage.
Bakoli's
On
ranked
AJ's
number.
end, I would never take that risk.
Bakoli's ranked number 1 with the WBA, so at this point, I'd imagine he'll probably just need to sit and wait for that phone call to come, or to get mandated, because there's nobody. There's nobody lined up to fight him. He brings nothing to the table in terms of intrigue, money, titles, anything of that ilk. And I don't care what Billy Nelson's got to say about it and that, because really, we've seen what his level is. It's no world level, unfortunately. Is it kind of maybe the kind of like part below it? But yeah, I think you just need to sit and wait for his turn.
Yeah. Before I go, I wanted to ask you guys a question because I've not seen much of Hrgovic. Because I think I was working that night when AJ and Usyk, the night before when AJ and Usyk had a rematch. So I was pretty much asleep during the whole undercard. Like I think I did a late 12-hour shift, but I still haven't seen that Hrgovic and Zhang fight. But how would you guys think Hrgovic and Parker fight would play out?
I think that's one of the most interesting fights in the division at this point in time. I'm trying to think how Parker is done against southpaws other than Zhang.
Well, Hrgovic is not a southpaw, is he? But it'd be a battle.
Yeah, I thought he was, wasn't he?
Is he?
No, he's not. He's
No,
not a southpaw.
It'd be a battle of the jabs, orthodox jabs. I was thinking, you see. He's quite stiff, Hrgovic, and he came on late against Zhang, but Zhang's energy tank went, and Parker seems to have found this great energy tank now. Remember against Takam when he was blowing out of his arse after 5 rounds, but he seems to be able to last the distance pretty well now.
Yeah, I was at the Parker AJ fight. I thought Parker kind of laid the blueprint for how Usyk could beat AJ, and I was getting ridiculed for months after I seen what Usyk did to Gassiev. I just thought Usyk was all wrong for him because I thought if Parker committed a bit more, he could have beaten AJ. I don't know if he would have got the decision because I think some of those scorecards were a bit too wide, but I think Parker was a bit underrated until the last 2 fights. So it'll be interesting to see how this division plays out. I think Zhang obviously came in too heavy, but I'm looking forward to the rematch. That should be a good fight as well.
It was the hugging, wasn't it? It was the hugging, in the Parker AJ fight. That was the problem.
Yeah.
He started grabbing him after about round 6, didn't he? Sorry, Matty.
Well, I think Parker's problem is when he's struggled in some fights that he could have won is he's just like too passive at times. And like I did like his increased urgency that he had against Zhang despite the knockdowns. But that's something Hrgovic has a problem with too, right? Like the fights where he's been run a little bit close that have been close or controversial, he just kind of gets passive and he lets his opponents be in a fight that they shouldn't be in. I mean, the guy can clearly punch. Who the hell was it that he just obliterated in a round a couple of months ago?
Mark Demori. I was at Mark Demori in DVD's fight. I don't think Mark Demori that good because I was a big fan of his, so I did go to that fight. But there's a clip of Hrgovic and Wilder sparring when Hrgovic is 18. Have you guys checked that out? That's where Hrgovic looks really good because he's like 18. Yeah, that was impressive at that age to do that to Wilder. Like I think he was a seasoned professional at that time.
Interesting. I'll check that out. Here's one I'll trade back to you if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen the sparring with Terrence Crawford and Carlos Adames, that's worth your viewing too.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I haven't heard about that. So they sparred. Yeah, Adames is a big guy as well. Isn't he? He's meant to be. Was he a middleweight?
Yep, it was
Yeah,
at Gleason's. I don't know how many years ago, but yeah, Crawford more than handled himself against a much bigger guy. It's good viewing.
that's interesting because Crawford's meant to fight Eubank, innit? And Eubank is a couple of divisions bigger, so.
Yeah, that's the rumor, and we're going to be getting into that later. There's a couple of things that happened this week, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and never a shortage of interesting things to talk about, I guess.
All right. I'll let you guys get to the other callers. All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good man. See you. Thank you.
All right,
man.
speak to
You
you soon.
take care, my
Right,
friend.
Hamid.
All right, nice.
Right on. I had a couple people jump on with us. That was a nice little change of pace. And since we've kind of touched on it, let's move to that Zhilei Zhang Joseph Parker fight, in a fight where Parker touched the canvas twice when Zhang just touched him with those freaking toasters he has for fists. But Parker just generally able to outwork the big man down the stretch. Again, just too freaking passive for the large southpaw. Unfortunately, he found himself on the wrong end of a close decision that he could have easily won with those knockdowns. Steve, it kind of think Zhang has no one to blame but himself for taking his foot off the gas after the early knockdown, and Parker, much like AJ here, having a career renaissance.
Yeah, he took off the gas, his foot off the gas, because I don't think there was much gas in the tank, unfortunately. Parker's movement was a problem. It kept offsetting Zhang's feet, quite immobile.
That's the problem, Steve, is after Chinese food, you're just hungry an hour later. It's just...
Exactly. He looked like Big John Fisher by the end of the fight, didn't he? Blowing out his hole after a 36 piece on each chili chicken. But,
landed 0 punches in round 12.
Zero punches, that's what they said on the broadcast. But Zhang clearly punches like a demon. We know that. But he was just too heavy. Wasn't it nearly 300 pounds he came in at?
291.
291, yeah, absolutely huge he was. And he paid the price. He was knackered. He was mentally tiring as well, I think, not just physically, by worrying about the late fight collapse. And I was sort of laughing last week. I can't remember who said it in the chat about the stamina and laughing at his renal failure, which came back to haunt me. I thought, oh, those are things of the past with him now. It happened against Jerry Forrest. It'll not happen again. But clearly it's not a thing of the past. He came in heavy. He's drinking a load of water now, but maybe he was desperate for a piss or didn't like the body shots or something, but he just could not last. And in round 10, he was knackered. Round 11, bollocks, and he just couldn't put anything on it. In round 12, his trainer told him to go out and throw as many punches to push Parker back, and he just couldn't physically do it. And one thing that wasn't being talked about, I don't think, is that as active as Parker was and as impressive as he was, which he certainly was in the fight, many of Parker's shots early on, I think, were hitting gloves. At one point, the camera skimmed behind them at one point, and Parker threw a left-right, and both of the shots bounced off Zhang's gloves, and you had Darren Barker going, "Oh, fantastic combo for Parker," and I'm thinking, not to denigrate Parker's efforts or anything, but I mean, those two shots clearly did not land. As I said, Parker did a great job. I thought he won the fight, but just an observation. A lot of the times he was throwing jabs, and especially right hands, and Zhang was blocking them and evading them. But the commentary team didn't seem to notice that. I know that Value of the Week, they've got the commentary team up for it. Let me see if I can just bring them up for you, Matty, here quickly. I'm not sure what you watched it on, but that was the DAZN lot there. You had Adi, Kate Abdo, this Helwani guy. I think he's come over from MMA or something. Conor Ben was there. I didn't see much of Tyson Fury. David Hay, Costello. I thought the dynamic in the main event was quite weird because you had all four of them, which didn't really work. I mean, Barry Jones is a good observer. Barker was a good fighter. Not that fussed of him as a commentator. Grisham, I don't know, he brings a bit of levity to the situation. Don't mind him either. But the way he was sort of bringing in Mike Costello, like he was the sort of, the special needs member of the panel. What do you think about that, Mike? Mike's here, everybody. Let's hear what Mike's got to say. But I don't think the four commentators work, basically. But
whose boxing resume do you think is better, Conor Ben or Kate Abdo's? Matty will get that one.
Some hard knockouts on that resume.
Matty, apparently this Miss Abdo is now in relationship with Mr. Malik Scott.
I've heard.
She's a solid journey woman.
Aye.
Building a good resume.
An interesting fact for you too: if you were to stretch David Hay and Malik Scott's penises end over end, they would stretch across all of Europe.
I'll take your word on that one. Just talking with too much authority there, so I'll just take your word for it.
You just fucking know. They just fucking. It's kind of like Zhang. They just fucking touch you and you fall. You know, motherfuckers. To be so blessed. Anyhow, fucking Beatbot Boop. Getting in here. This one isn't for me, Andy. I just I don't have the knowledge, but this is all you, buddy. Another historical debate, lads. Was Max Baer underrated, and could he have been even better had the Frankie Campbell incident not scarred him? You know, I will say that I think his greatest accomplishment was his son, who ended up being playing Jethro on the Beverly Hillbillies.
I'm trying to remember actually. Max Baer, was that would be what?
Well, he beat Joe Louis. He went 1-1 with Joe Louis, right?
I seem to recall him being a bit of a party boy, supposedly. I don't know if he was into what do you call it? Like, how they used to do that what do you call it? Vanderbilt scene or whatever, and that, like
vaudeville.
Vaudeville shows and all that. So I don't know if he was involved in that scene for a period of time, but he fought. Am I right in saying he fought Schmeling? I think he fought Max Schmeling back.
Oh, that's who I was thinking of. The beat Joe Louis was Schmeling. What the fuck was it? Yeah.
It would be around about the time of when the Nazis came to power, possibly.
Yeah.
But,
the whole vaudevillian scene was
there's two Germans
and all that, wasn't it, in the 20s?
Aye.
I don't know. Well, the Frankie Campbell incident, I think I'm right in saying he killed Campbell basically, didn't he? Didn't he hit him hard, and he said that he couldn't feel his head or something? And I'm no expert on Max Baer, to be honest, but there was definitely a ring death involved. I think what Beatbot Boop's referring to here is that it's sort of took the steam out of Baer's career after that. You become gun shy or something.
I'm
no expert.
That's not entirely unique. Emil Griffith didn't have very many knockouts after he killed the guy. Mancini didn't have very many knockouts after he killed Kim. It's kind of a running theme.
Chris Eubank, after the Watson incident.
Sergey Kovalev couldn't give a fuck. He just kept going. Matias.
Who was the Mexican kid that killed someone? It's on the tip of my tongue. I think he was a lightweight or a featherweight.
Oh, is that
Mexican American? Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
I literally watched one of his fights the other night, fairly on in his career. Wasn't he Leha? Oh. But anyway, I just pulled up at Max Baer. Yeah, he wasn't the acting in that. He was in the film called The Prize Fighter and the Lady in 1933.
There you go. I don't know. I think, to be fair, these kind of questions are hard. It's hard. These kind of questions, to sort of get stuck into now. You'd have to put it into a punches from the past or something. I'd say is the fairest thing,
Jesus something. Jesus.
You mentioned that
Chavez. Jesus Chavez.
Against Levander Johnson.
That's the one. The one.
That was 2000. Was it 2003?
I've seen that fight the other week there, actually.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
But in terms of Max Baer, mate, it's something I probably need to go look at in more detail. I'm going off memory here, but I've read up a fair bit on Joe Louis. With me and Steve done punches for the past for the Max Schmeling stuff. I seem to recall Baer being a bit of a party boy on the circuit, doing the acting stuff, becoming champion at the time when the racial stuff was at its peak. White world heavyweight champion type status, I believe. And obviously with the thing with Schmeling coming up, and that was when the Nazis were coming to power, I'm sure. So whatever was in the press at the time and that as well, so it would have been different times back then. But yeah, it was. I didn't know much about his career off the top of my head, but I'm sure for a brief period, I'm sure he was heavyweight champ.
Yeah, well, I'll hang on to that one when if Rob comes in here, because he tends to have a little bit of this in there. Wish we could have helped you more.
Yeah, there he's. Yeah, he beat. There you go. He beat Primo Carnera for the title. I was right. So he beat him. So he was heavyweight champion in 1934, and he lost it the following year to James J. Braddock. So Braddock.
1934, he won the title. Did you say?
Yep.
Well, the guy he killed was in 1930, so that was 4 years before. So it mustn't have affected him that much if he went on to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
There it's Frankie Campbell.
Wasn't
right,
there a Buddy Bear, or am I remember? Wasn't Buddy Bear a boxer?
Here we go. Irwin, the referee, ruled that Bear had slipped and had not been dropped. He motioned Bear to his feet. In the meantime, Campbell had walked to the far side of the ring, turning his back. Bear rushed across the ring and socked Campbell with 3 stiff rights to the head. The blows dazed Campbell, and he was pretty well spent as he made his way back to the corner. Something feels as though it's broken my head, Campbell told Chief Second
there
Tommy
you go.
Maloney
Yeah.
during the rest interval between the second and third rounds. Onlookers claimed that Bear slugged Campbell unmercifully in the 5th round after he was already unconscious but held up to his feet by the ropes, which we'll probably get to, Steve, in the Canadian card that we'll watch on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Fucking damn tremendous knockout. Brain specialist Tilton E. Tillman declared death had been caused by a succession of blows on the jaw and not by any struck on the rear of the head, and that Campbell's brain had been knocked completely loose from his skull.
Oh my God!
That's right, yeah. I think I heard it in like Boxing and the Mob or something like that. I knew it was familiar. That's right. He said that he couldn't feel his head or something, which I suppose you wouldn't if your brain was disconnected.
That's new information to me, actually. I hadn't read a lot about BRA, so it was that era would be like Joe Lewis and Max Schmeling I'd be reading about, and no Max Baer and that, to be fair. I never knew about that, to be fair. So
yeah.
Jesus Christ, never
Bet
find
you're glad
out
you
how
heard
the
about
sausage
it
is
now,
made. Ugh. Ugh. That's a fucking fantastic
moving on.
injury.
What about Nick Ball?
Now, yeah, I was just gonna go to that one. And much to Andy's disappointment, tale of 2 fights. Nick Ball scoring 2 knockdowns in the last half of the fight after Ray Vargas had comprehensively outboxed him for the first 6. The fight ending in a split draw, 1 card each direction, 1 even. The first knockdown, a little bit controversial because Ball was holding him, spun him, and then landed a punch. I guess that could have been called either way. The other one was clean. I believe that was in the 10th or the 11th. Definitely a tale of 2 fights. Very interesting draw. I thought was kind of fair because all you needed was for Ray Vargas to have picked up 1 of the last 6 rounds, which I don't think was ridiculous. I think there was 2 that he might have had an argument for. But Andy, your heart was broken. You almost saw Ray Vargas lose twice.
Yeah,
in a row.
almost, mate. Almost. They apparently had a kind of tough weight cut as well, actually, potentially. He hasn't made the weight for almost 2 and a bit years, I'm sure. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he was giving Ball the problems with a long reach. I really didn't think it was going to be that big a difference, but oh my God. Fair play to Ball. I mean, he remained patient. Okay, he was to a point, I would say, because he was desperate. He was getting a wee bit frustrated. He couldn't get into punching distance. You could see when he was really reaching in for the shots, and Vargas was spinning off to the right, and then you've got he's run up against the ropes, trying to bull rush him a little bit. But as you say, just gradually as the fight wore on, he started to kind of measure him and get his timing down, and then start landing the shots. And really, the type of fight actually you would want to see go 15, 20, 25 rounds just to get a clear winner, actually, because I didn't want to go through another 12 rounds, to be fair, because it was something similar. But I think Ball can't really do much different, really, can he? Really, unless he comes out there and he manages to land early doors and really hurt him up and really then press for the stoppage then. But you could foresee a rematch kind of going similar in that. It's going to be like four, 5, 6 rounds. It's going to be really hard for Ball to really try and get his timing in. Vargas just keeps jabbing, moving, and then obviously if he grapple if he can, and spin off to the side if Ball's trying to kind of then burst into distance. But when he was getting into distance, that he was making his punches count, head and body. I thought he could maybe work the body a wee bit more than that as well, but done all he could, to be fair. Considering what he was fighting up against that in terms of height and reach, it's a tremendous effort. To even have the guy down in that as well twice and still not even win the bloody fight, it's incredible. So fair play to Nick Ball. I had hoped he was going to pull. I think everybody was pulling for him actually, to be fair, to pull it off, because we've had enough of Ray Vargas. But c'est la vie, we've got to go through another 12 rounds yet possibly, and we'll be on the Nick Ball train, cheering him through, hopefully to pull it off, because as I said, I thought he might have just shaded it, especially with the 2 knockdowns, especially in the kind of second half of the fight and that as well, so.
I think the Figueroa fight's going to happen next. I don't think you're going to get that dream, but I think Figueroa will beat him good.
Omar Figueroa.
Which one is the one?
Brandon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that the mandated defence then for Vargas? 'Cause
Yeah,
Nick
he's
Ball
the
was number one.
interim. He's the interim. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well,
I don't know how this shit fucking works at
Well,
all.
they'll probably need to order a rematch. Surely, if Nick Ball was the manager and they've fought to a draw, that's got to go to a rematch. Surely, Christ.
Maybe, except Figueroa's the interim. I don't know.
Well, it must. He's no. You must say I had the WBC rankings up there, but he's no listed in boxing scene as WBC interim champion anymore.
I don't know that they do list them.
You must say.
I thought they would maybe force him to fight Figueroa next as well, but frig knows.
That was featherweight, eh?
Figueroa.
I just think the fact that Figueroa's come at him from a much more similar height and a better reach with the same kind of swarming aggressive style. Yeah, he'll be able to kind of do what Ball did, but big man do it.
Just so you know, super bantamweight directly translated from Spanish to English to super cock.
Aye, because of the bantam and the cock in it, man, the class.
But aye, you're right. He's listed on WBC website as interim champion.
There you go.
Wait and see. Just need to wait and see. But no, I think they would need to order a rematch here. Surely, Christ.
No, it was a really good fight. I actually enjoy it. Usually, Ray Vargas fights aren't that good, but that one went right down to the wire. Steve, I think you really got to give some credit to Nick Ball for being in fantastic shape. I mean, he was getting ripped with body shots. Vargas did a great work to the body early, and it did not deter Ball down the stretch. Did not take out of his gas tank. He was still, going strong in the 12th round. The guy is in fantastic shape.
Yeah, he took some hell of a body shots. I was talking to Dominic about this fight. He asked me how I'd scored it. I don't bother scoring fights, but Ball felt like the winner to me. It might have been the fact that he came on, in the second half of the fight and got the couple of knockdowns and all, but the momentum was definitely shifting in his favour. And Vargas, when he doesn't like something, fair enough, he just drops to the floor. And then in the end, I think the referee just started to get fed up. And I picked Vargas to win in the prediction league. Shout out to Joe Kennedy. I just thought his experience might tell. He seems to be one of these guys who's always managed to scrape through all the time, even with those boring fights. And I'd love to see the back of him, but he's going to be around to stay. Also, I felt that whenever Ball fought the South African in that ill-fated fight, Lamarte, I was at that fight actually. I thought Lamarte had a lot of success early on with the jab, with the movement, and I thought, well, a better version of him, which is Vargas, would be able to give Ball trouble. And he just didn't have the punching power. I think he had the power. With those body shots and ripping the uppercuts, I think he might have stunned Ball. But Ball, I don't know, people in the chat saying he's Commonwealth level, British level. I thought that myself. He seems to be the type of guy who you could figure out, but who's going to be able to figure him out? Nobody at the moment. He punches hard, comes forward, just gets hold of you, and he's just really hard to repress and resist. And it's going to take someone with a good sharp jab, bit of foot movement, and a good punch, I think, to beat him. And Vargas isn't that man. Warren was absolutely seething at the end of the fight. Warren's always raging, isn't he, these days? What do the crowd think about this fight? And they're all, and all this shit, man. But mandated if the WBC feel they want to see it again. But one thing I am a fan of, Matty, is Vargas at the end with that religious staff that he brought in to lean on when he was doing his interview. I think boxing needs a bit more of that. I didn't see that one come in. He sort of brought in this kind of like staff with a crucifix on, and he was standing there holding himself up. So fair play to Vargas.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought maybe he was going to be part of the major scene at the church's Christmas ceremony.
Thought someone was going to start like waving incense about the place or something, but no, it didn't come to pass.
Yeah, was I supposed to have the frankincense or the myrrh? Yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, that was an interesting little fight on that card. Absolutely enjoyable. I didn't see everything. But I did get a chance to watch the last half of Justice Hooney against Kevin Lorena. Hooney barely able to hang on through that 10th round. Lorena just wasn't able to find a shot after staggering Hooney pretty hard. The last half from where I was definitely dominated by Hooney. Apparently the first half was more competitive. Andy, what did you think of this heavyweight scrap?
It was during dinner time and the bedtime run. But to be honest, I did catch some of it. Especially the early half of the fight. Lorena certainly was putting that work on him the early half of the fight, and Hooney's really then having to kind of like turn the tide a wee bit. It was a hard fought scrap for what I was seeing it, and to be fair, I wasn't really impressed with Justice Hooney. To be honest with you, I know he's had problems with. I think he broke his hand before the last Olympics. I think so. I don't know if that's maybe a problem. But Lorena, as I've said before, the cruiserweight coming up, and I was
His mom died 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah, fair play to him. He's dug in there. It was a close-ish fight. Hooney probably done enough maybe to kind of stretch it out possibly, but definitely a work in progress. In all honesty, but Lorena, I was actually surprised to see him up at heavyweight actually because he was just. I'm sure he was doing it cruiserweight for a while, but then he's came up there like 2 years ago, and I actually forgot he actually was even up at heavyweight. Then I realised that remember Dubois had him down in the first. That's
exactly
right.
hurt Dubois, didn't he?
I done his knee in, I think, in that fight as well.
That's right.
But he certainly is in the kind of wee side for a heavyweight, to be honest. But he done as well as he could, to be honest. Again, I wasn't tuning in fully, but he done his best as he could in that. But Hooney certainly has a work in progress as well.
Yeah, and he could be in a few decent fights down the road. I don't think he's going to be a champion, though. But Steve, I think that he brings something to the table, and in this world of many people looking to prove their worth at heavyweight, he could be an interesting scrap with one of these young guns that's also undefeated.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's decent. He's functional. At some point, they're going to have to just start putting these guys together. I know that's not an original thought in the sport, but there's so many sort of fighters hanging around, and Hooney hasn't really moved into that direction yet. This was a nice step-up fight for him after his, 8th or 9th fight. Lorena's no mug. I seem to remember Lorena a few years ago. Didn't he have a PED scandal where he said that he got contaminated by his wife's
fertility drugs or something
fertility
like that.
tablets or something. So
the ideal thing to reboost your system after taking steroids.
Exactly. So, and he's a former IBO champ as well, but he's a decent, solid guy. Bit too small for heavyweight, and Hooney did what he had to do, apart from the last minute or so when he sort of got caught. But yeah, it's hard to get excited about these guys until they start really fighting against each other. Basically, if Hooney got put in against Jared Anderson or something, I'd say, yeah, I'd be in favour of that fight. So until that point,
Jared Anderson's not going to be getting in.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe on the streets, a Jared Anderson type figure, maybe, Matty.
Yeah, at that level.
Jared Anderson's investment is going to be the legal process, man.
Yeah. Oh dear me.
He'll be sharing many things. They'll just be in a cell. Anyhow, further on down the card, let's see here. Now, Steve, imagine, if you will, for a second, that you are a young, undefeated fighter with good knockout power, trying to just find the right opportunity to get yourself towards a title shot, and you get a phone call, and it's from none other than His Excellency, who tells you you're one of his favorite fighters. And then you show up and you do the job. How would you feel, Steve? How would you feel if you were Mark Chamberlain?
And he's not even there to see it. If Mark Chamberlain wins by knockout and His Excellency isn't in the building to watch the fight, did Mark Chamberlain win at all? He looked good, Matty. I've seen him before on Friday nights on BT. Puts his shots together well. Gavin Gwyn's had a bit of a career renaissance. But unfortunately, he showed in that Marcelli fight last time that he's going to struggle against a certain style, and Chamberlain was kind of made for him stylistically. So,
His Excellency maybe had to go to the toilet or something like that. You never know.
Maybe.
You can get caught short sometimes, And as understanding in Arabia, you didn't get the proper toilets. You've got to kind of aim for a hole in the flare, So it takes a bit of time.
All right. Well, that was random. But yeah, good performance by Chamberlain there.
Were you impressed by him, Matty? What did you think of Chamberlain?
I only really went back and just looked for the stoppage, and he does seem like a tough kid. They're talking about maybe him against Cordina. So I don't know. Interesting to see him on the come up here.
Tom Smith, Turkey was too busy with the chambermaid.
Maids, Andy, maids.
But he's only got the maid there, so I'm using singular, mate. So
Turkey saying that Chamberlain is his favourite fighter was a bit like Canelo saying that Terry Harper was he. That's what I thought you were going with, Matty.
That was Eddie Hearn,
or Helen Mirren sliding into the Joshua Franco. What was the debate? What was it?
It was Franco against Maloney, wasn't it?
Yeah, big Maloney fan.
We got Hoddy Hearn and ask her if she is a real boxing fan. Fuck.
She needs to answer some serious questions, Andy, I think.
Yep.
Let's see.
I'm not going to say it.
Let's see here. In a preview of Right Hands to Come, Lewis Green stopping previously undefeated Jack McGann with a nice overhand right. Quick first round win there for Green. I guess back to the drawing board for McGann there, Mr. Patterson.
Oh, aye, without doubt, mate. It was a shocking knockout, to be fair. Massive shot. I'd never recovered from it, to be fair. The other much else I can say, but it was like, I don't know, 40, 50 seconds into the first round. If it was that. And same goes for the other one, Madrimov against Kurbanov. Talk about a mismatch, man. Kurbanov really never really done nothing, really, didn't he? And Madrimov just basically looked like the best he's ever looked, to be fair. So it's probably a combination between it's a certain level above the other fighter. So I wouldn't go too mad into that one either, to be fair. But it was a decent performance, I will say. But just to reiterate, Matty, that was a 9-hour slog, man. Some of those, some of that, and my mind's a bit hazy now because it is 48 hours ago, and it's 9.5 fucking hours. So come on.
You mentioned Madrimov against Kurbanov. I was going to book him, but let's go into that one because the rest I did not see for the life of me. Madrimov, it just looked excellent. His punch selection was fantastic, Andy. I thought in the round before the stoppage that Kurbanov was finally getting some success, kind of varying his right hand, actually. I thought he caught Madrimov with it straight, caught it with a little bit loopy, and also landed the uppercut. Thought maybe the tides were turning, but then in the fifth round, Madrimov just turned it on, hurt him up against the ropes. Referee stopped in. I thought it looked a little bit early. Kurbanov didn't complain. But that was a heck of a good that was a good win for Madrimov right there. He looked sharp.
Yeah, he did actually. As I say, it was probably his best performance as a pro. Seen MB's commenting about the fight postal being off previously. I'm trying to remember that actually. Maybe I was injured. As I say, if it was injury, then maybe that does explain. I'm not saying it was a lack of known effort, but it sounded like he was never felt like he was in the fight. To me, Madrimov just looked like he was a level above him in every department: movement, speed. Even he's not even a noted banger, but Christ, even some of the shots he was throwing and landing that was causing problems to Kurbanov. And to be fair, Kurbanov, he shouldn't really have. I'm sure he was undefeated until that fight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty sturdy in the past.
He is
all
pretty
of his
sturdy,
fights
but
have come in Russia, haven't they?
yeah, and he should have a. Well, I maintain that Liam Smith could have done a wee bit more in that fight, and he could definitely have won it. Same goes for the Sorrow fight as well. Sorrow won that fight for me. Liam Smith, if he just upped it a little bit more, he could have definitely won that fight. In fact, folk do think Smith won that fight. So there's potentially 2 losses he should have in his record before he met Madrimov. So he finally got served. But as you say, Steve, he's never fought outside Russia before, as well. Teixeira, Sorrow, as I say, it was a gifted decision, and Diego Chavez, who at that point as well, slightly washed at that point, but Kurbanov had points deducted in that fight, I'm sure. So European level fighter, mate, Matty Kurbanov, but Madrimov, as I say, he was a level above. But again, with him, light middleweight is still an exciting. You got Zhu now, obviously with the belts fragmenting. You got Zhu coming in there. You've now got Madrimov kind of kicking up now. He's got his title, so it's starting to stack up a little bit, that division again after it getting cleaned out supposedly. I don't know if Mendoza still kicking about there possibly. You got did Murtazaliev, did he get knocked out, or was it somebody else I'm thinking about? One of the Uzbeks.
No, I don't think he did. Isn't what do you call the big lanky fella, Fundora?
Fundora.
He's fighting soon, isn't he?
He's fighting Bahuchek.
And you got Abbas Barrow. He won the European title there. Was it last week or 2 weeks
against
ago?
Eggington, yeah.
So he'll be in the running now for a title fight at some point. And you said you've got 2 vacant belts at 50. Well, you got 1 vacant belt now at 54 with IBF. So
and then Charlo is still maybe going to fight again. I don't know. We'll see.
God knows, mate.
Well, they stripped him of the WBA, didn't they? Isn't that what Madrimov and Kurbanov were fighting?
Yeah. He was the champion in recess or some shit like that.
Oh, is that what it is?
WBC, yeah.
I think the difference, what Andy said as well, was just speed and explosivity. Madrimov just seemed like quicker to the punch. He was throwing the shots a lot quicker and a lot sharper. But that said, I know Kurbanov has had his gifts in the past. I thought he actually won the Smith fight, although it was very close. Sorrow, I thought, possibly Sorrow won that one. But Kurbanov, I would actually go with MB. I'm no Kurbanov fan. I don't give a shit, but I wonder if he was injured. He didn't look himself. Why would you get to that stage? Excuse me. Why would you get to that stage and then just put in a performance like that, man? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's who knows. There were weird rumors before the fight. God only knows. So, But that was, that was possible. What we were thinking might have been the most competitive fight on the card. I think at the end of the day, Vargas against Ball was the best matched fight, even though if at times wasn't the most entertaining. I know how much Andy hates Ray Vargas, but Ray Vargas lives to fight another day. Let's see here. What else was on there? I had Andre Nowitzki taking out Juan Torres in the third. Zayad Al-Mayouf winning a points decision over Christian Lopez Flores. And Roman Fury taking a points win over Martin Spark. Anybody see those or have any interest in discussing them before we move on?
We've ran this card for
No,
over
no.
an hour now, man. Let's fucking move on.
Aye, we're going to be catching the card up for time soon.
Fucking great.
Exactly, aye. 10
All
hours
right.
we'll be discussing this card just about, man, in total.
All right, we're going to go back to Thursday in Canada.
Yes.
We had a card that had its entertaining moments on there. Trying to think of what I saw on there. Maybe I didn't see as much as I thought that I did. Let's see here. Oslas Iglesias taking out Marcelo Caceres in a single round. Just to catch him on the temple with some whipping shots, and had Caceres all shades of messed up. But then in what was the 50-50 fight, basically with the books, Stephen Butler sneaking a right hand right through the guard as Steve rolls, putting him against the ropes and then just waylaying hooks into him. The referee stepping in, rolls generally unaware that anything had happened after he had kind of regained sense of where he was a little bit. There was a few other fights on there. Female heavyweight fight that I actually didn't watch. Mehmet Unal was on there. He is a still developing prospect as well. Andy, what were your thoughts on this card?
Well, firstly, I'm actually quite enthused with the Canadians at this point, actually, because they've signed their chief of support, the Cuban. So they seem to be making moves, and there was talk during the show and that they've got a big announcement coming up very soon. I'll just leave it at that. They didn't mention anything really, but names were trying to kind of like get mentioned by Corey Erdman. They were mentioning, Christian Mbili. So maybe a big event coming in the off for for the Canadians. And I really do like some of the fighters. I mean, obviously you got that Bearslanov. That he's a really good fighter. I really like that Lewis Santana as well. Actually, I did think that was a low blow. I think that it was Garcia. I think the opponent's name was.
Oh yeah, at the end of the first round. And,
yeah, that was a
yeah.
body shot. I know it hit the waistband of the shot, but it didn't look low to me, and I thought he was milking a little bit. He took the full 5 minutes.
It was like USYK Dubois a bit, Andy, I thought, wasn't it? The low blow.
A wee bit. We also see. I really like the look of that the Colombian kid. He's 20-year-old actually. Is it Joan Orobio? I think his name is. I think he just turned 20 anyway. I don't know what. I'm not going to proclaim anything with this kid, but he does look like a very, very good prospect. I don't know if he's going to be remaining at 35. Obviously, by the time he gets to about 15, 20 fights, I'd imagine he's maybe have to move up in weight, especially as he gets older. But want to look out for that Wilkins Mateo as well. Another one actually interesting prospect. Big, tall dude, 19-year-old, and that got a bit of power about him. Another one, be interesting to see when he develops. Clearly won't stay at 68 for much longer, actually, either as well. We'll just mention Iglesias. I remember mentioning Steve. How far back we mentioned Steve? About two years ago, possibly, with this guy.
A good while ago, yeah.
I mentioned this guy when he turned either pro or his second pro fight. I noticed him one of the obscure German cards. And I like everything about this guy. By the way, he's got good feet. He's got quick hands. I tell you, you no doubt watched that fight, but I actually missed the punch. It was that quick. Actually, I thought he actually threw a body shot and it landed. When you look at it on the actual replay, he actually feints with a jab to the body. The opponent bites on the feint. He then throws a straight left hand that hits him square in the forehead. Then misses with the right hook. It was a one shot basically that just totally just transformed that guy immediately. I actually thought it was a body shot and the right hook that landed that was that fast. As I say to Steve, the hand speed is frightening. The power is going to come as well as he probably gets even more training sitting down on his shots. And one thing I have to laugh at as well is when they were doing the pre-fight thing when they listed it was 5'8". I'm saying, so that's fucking all right. He's closer to 6'8" than he is 5'8" actually, because when the fight was started, you can literally see he's well over 6 feet tall. A bit lanky actually, but obviously once he fills out, who knows? But he's definitely looking a proper prospect. And I was mentioning the main event, devastating knockout by the way. I mean, that Steve Rose hadn't a clue what happened to him. He sat in the corner. He's having to have his corner
And
explain
he's a
to him what
sturdy
happened.
guy. He lasted longer than that with Golovkin.
That was another one shot as well. I think was it 3 left hook kind of follow up shots. I don't know if they fully landed, but it's certainly kind of close to the point. The referee was a wee bit slow there, but it was a devastating right hand. Just sank him right in the ropes, and he was sleeping because you see he woke up, hadn't a clue what happened to him. So yeah, it was a decent card, and I'm really liking what the Canadians are doing. They've signed the Cuban, as I mentioned. He hasn't ranked at this point. I'd imagine he'll drop into the top 15. I'd imagine in the next coming months. But definitely a serious prospect, and as you said, nobody does that to Corsairs, or nobody has done it to him actually. One shot, dropped, counted it. Devastating.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of some surprise endings on that card, Steve. The Canadians continue to deliver in the middle of the week.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm loving these Canadian cards. Not too much to add that Andy hasn't already gone over. I'll just give my 2 pence worth quickly. Yeah, Butler, he's shown his levels in the past, got absolutely annihilated by Alim Honolulu. He's teamed up with John Scully now, though, a couple of wins. This one was a belter. Rolls, no idea where he was, sitting on the ropes, out. When he come round, he was sort of protesting the stoppage, but no protesting needed. Iglesias beat David Morel as an amateur, had mixed results, but that sort of Cuban domestic scene is really tough, but he looks the business. 6'2", very, very fast hands to head and body. Reminds me of Johan Pablo Hernandez. If anybody remembers him, a Cuban based in Germany a few years ago, good fighter, a little bit chinny, but could punch and
some good fights. Steve Cunningham.
Yeah, reminds me a bit of him stylistically. That was my first instinct. And Corsairs, he doesn't win the fights at the top level, but he has been the distance. I think Belanga, he dropped him as well, went a few rounds with Billy Joe Saunders. He's usually durable, and Iglesias just absolutely wiped him out. So that was that. You mentioned the heavyweights as well, the women. Vanessa against Abril. The heavyweight women fight at 175 pounds, so that's light heavyweight sort of for the fellas. And Abril came in at 170, and there were a couple of fat women really just swinging away at each other. But it was fun for the duration. Mehmet Unal, he was an Olympian, I think, for Turkey. He's been lauded as a bit of a puncher, but I think as the levels go up, he will turn into a bit more of a boxer. I don't think he's got that power now that he's fighting against guys who are going to stand up to him like this Galavar did.
He's dead already.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've move on with him as well.
Yeah, he's older, so they're going to have to... Although they do tend to get them out quite quickly, which I like. Orobio, Colombian, can't speak a word of English or French. He's fighting in Canada, left his comfort zone in Colombia. He's only 20, real puncher. Looks like he could have a bit about him. Wilkins Mathieu as well. He's had 8 fights now. I've seen all of them on the Eye of the Tiger promotions. And Biaslanov, as Andy mentioned, 14-0, 12 knockouts. They're really going the Artur Beterbiev route here. His name's Movladin Biaslanov, but they call him Artur Biaslanov, the Chechen wolf. And he's a Russian who's pretending he's Canadian.
Who was the one that were called Mini GGG?
That was Katayev, wasn't it, I think?
Was it Katayev? No, was it on this card? So someone will get mentioned.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I heard that, to be honest.
Oh, sorry. I must be something.
It was on the DAZN card, wasn't it?
Right.
Was it DAZN? No, I'll tell you what it was. It was.
Yeah.
It was, mate. Who was it?
Eddie was calling fucking homeboy the
No,
Stop Man.
Costello. It was Costello was talking about it.
Oh, was it? Eddie said it as well.
He was talking about the Soviet. He was talking about the old Soviet Union and that. He said like so how these guys when they've turned pro back in the day, so having all that richer talent coming through the pro scene, like the Uzbeks, the Kazakhs, obviously the Russians and the Ukrainians and that, but they would never turn pro back in the day. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Good card. I enjoy these cards.
I enjoyed it.
They've got who's Bazinians fighting some local guy, I think, coming up. They were pushing that for the beginning of April. They're active. They're on ESPN. And just in case I don't mention it as well, Matty, over the weekend, there was a win for Kevin Lele Sajo over in France, 22-0, 20 knockouts. The phenomenon they call him, he's 33. He stopped Giovanni Di Carolis. He's been around for absolute donkeys, this guy. Sajo's style and he's quite like Christian and Billy. come forward, hands high, physically strong, beats you into submission. Decent boxer, might outbox him, but at that European level, fringe world level, he's looking like a bit of a handful, to be honest.
Just to own that, Steve, actually, on that card, that Najib Mohammed, I'm sure got iced in 4 rounds.
Yeah, that's 11 losses for him now, and he tends to get knocked out pretty handy, doesn't he? Should maybe pack it in, I think.
So that card, Steve, is on the usual channels if you're interested.
Yes, yep. I got the main event just.
I'm grabbing that. Right.
Thanks, Matty.
All right. And joining us also, Rob Kelly. Rob, why don't you give us your weekend wrap-up, and we will move on.
Hi, Maddie. I hope you are well and having a lovely time this evening hosting. And I hope you had a lovely time in Puerto Rico.
I think you've seen the comments that have said, why is Rob always picking on Maddie?
And he doesn't like the drawn out laugh anymore either. Can't even bully anyone in peace these days. Fucking hell. Yeah, good fucking watch the DAZN card. Really impressed with Joe Parker. I kind of thought that he couldn't employ that same kind of style that he used against Wilder, against Zhang, but despite overcoming knockdowns and like heavy shots, one of them was on the back of the head, I think, but definitely got into a rhythm and started to take the play away from Zhang and box clever and fucking has a bit of seasoning on him, a bit of fucking few moves that he wasn't doing before. He's fighting kind of more out of a crouch up close, throwing that right overhand right in on top of Zhang and just winning the rounds like it was a close fight or whatever, but I think he was deserved winner, like, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought Zhang would get to him and stop him just by lying on him and stuff, but thought his footwork is kind of understated in the last 2 fights, the way he's able to get in and out of distance. So they've definitely made improvements with him. I think they have a rematch clause. They have to do it again. I wouldn't fancy fucking another rematch with Zhang, give him a chance to adjust, but maybe another camp with fucking Andy and Parker is going to bring out more of this from him. Like, but it's just a pity these fights have to. I mean, they're just paydays now, aren't they, for these guys at the heavyweights, because the path is laid out towards the title, so they just have to wait it out, like for maybe an IBF to become vacant or something like that. But yeah, Joe Parker thought he showed huge balls as well, getting up off the deck and put in a good performance. In terms of the main event, like I thought maybe like this would go the distance, or maybe Ngannou might even have a moment of success, or AJ might get tired, but realistically he did what he's supposed to do, didn't he? Went out and punched holes in him, like nothing overcomplicated, straight shots, held his feet. I tell you what, I know Ngannou didn't have Tyson in the camp for this fight, and I'm not saying that would have made a difference, but I saw him doing pads in the dressing room before that, and he wasn't even turning his hands over on the shots. Now obviously he's just warming up, but I was like, the fuck are they doing with this guy? Like, what's his? And then I started thinking, like, what's Ngannou's plan going to be? Like, because he doesn't fucking box off the jab, so it's going to be just power, isn't it? Trying to get close to him. So he did kind of club him around the back of the head, and you could see he felt it, but the difference in levels was just fucking apparent. Like, and that's what Fury should have done with him. That's what AJ did to him. What it does for the shake up of the heavyweights, I don't know. Usyk and Fury are still 1 and 2 for me. Like, Joe Parker is a good shout for number 3, as is Joshua. Maybe them two will fight again, but they won't though, because Zhang is fighting. But I think the optics are different though in terms of AJ. Like, it's a fucking massive global viral moment. He's made him fall on his own leg. He's fucking flatlined him. He didn't move for 10 seconds. It's making it look like Boxercise Ben and him have the master plan to defeat Fury. So that in terms of it, that fight was about to be dead in the water. And at the time I was thinking, why the fuck are they making this fight? It's too high risk, low reward. But it's perfect for the optics. He's gone and fucking demolished someone in 2 rounds. He's flattened him. He should have been target practice for Joshua anyway. And they've taken advantage of a big name, never been dropped in the UFC. So they can really fucking market this shit again. It just depends on who they can keep him active with. But maybe all is not lost in terms of seeing Fury and AJ in the ring together. Like, and that's massively dependent on Fury holding up his end of the bargain too. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But for the optics, I think brilliant for Joshua. It puts him back in the mix. It makes it exciting again. And he's rescued his career, or rescued his chance at a massive payday that is still demand the public interest. So I mean, that's all you could say about it. It's still a showpiece fight. I still don't feel good about this guy Ngannou holding up the heavyweight division, having fights against 2 of the top 3 guys. You know, that way, like, it's just looking it still doesn't sit right with me. But it is what it is. We're living in that fucking world of cross promotion and new revenue streams and all that. Like, so yeah, that's about as much as I caught though.
Yep, about as dumb as Conor McGregor against Floyd Mayweather, but what are you going to do?
Just briefly, guys, I put in the chat there, just a quick question. Did Parker get his nose broken in that fight? Because there seemed to be a lot of blood.
Looked like he had
coming,
a nick on the bridge of the nose more, wasn't
was
it?
it
Like
the
an
bridge of the
abrasion
nose,
or
right?
something, yeah.
So it wasn't right, okay.
All right, well, let's see here. Let's go in the chat. Thanks some people for being around. Our good friend Yimmy Yappy in there moderating. That's not easy. Just Greed, Hamed, Tom Smith, Aunt B, MB. Yeah, that was a little tough one there. Hamed, of course. Oh, we already said him. John Trounson. Hamed was on with us earlier. Michael Thompson. Paul Raftery. Let's see here. Who else we got? Sam O'Hare Childs. Thanks for hopping in there. I don't think I've seen you here before. Let's go find just a couple more. Of course, we're in there. Wow, there's been a fair amount of conversation, but it's just been between the same people, Steve. J-Yo.
All the losers.
Andrew Thickett. There we go. Ray. Just had to go up a little while there. Let's see here. Will Ballston. We would like to thank all of you guys for being in there today, as well as P. Yes, just the letter P. Thank you. And we also said super chatters. We'll thank you guys again at the end of the show. Well, it is a weird time. And, Rob mentioned Mike Tyson wasn't as much involved in the camp of Francis Ngannou this time around. And one might say, well, why was that be? What was going on? What better could Mike Tyson have to do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Tyson is preparing for a fight with Jake Paul.
Yes, fuck off with this shit. Like, it's
That'll
horrible,
be a
isn't it?
genuine sparring session. That's not going to be a fight, man.
This is a strange time to be alive.
I don't even want to see this shit, honestly. I know, like, Mike is kind of like like me and Andy's, I suppose, and Steve's era as well. Maybe it was well, Maddie, like that our era, like of the fucking. He was the Ali of our era, not comparing the two of their careers, but he was that big of our era. Like, but in hindsight, since his retirement, the oversaturation of the Tyson world is just fucking too much for me to take. Like, how much more do we have to see of Tyson between his podcast, his fucking weed strain, his fucking comedy one-man tour, his documentary, his movie? I have enough Tyson. Like, I don't want to see Tyson fighting Jake Paul. He's a 60-year-old pot smoker. Like, it's not, he can't get in shape. You know what I mean? Like, 20 years ago, Kevin McBride was stopping him. Like, this is not good. Like, I don't know. And unless, like, it's a result, it's a foregone conclusion, which a lot of those things seem to be in the Jake Paul world. I don't know. Like, it's a bit spooky. And who's sanctioning this, by the way? A fucking 60-year-old man having a pro fight. Like, stop. Like,
Rob seems less than pleased about this whole thing. Steve, what are your opinions?
I don't really have too many opinions, to be honest. It's just a sort of another eye roll to do with boxing, isn't it? I mean, anything to do with Jake Paul. He knows how to sell a fight. He was pushing the Indian fella. He wants, he'd signed some Indian amateur or something, I think, hadn't he? So he was trying to promote that. He was out in Puerto Rico, topping the bill that you were at. And I don't know, I just see him as just a complete circus show and a sideshow. And I just think it's nailed on that he's going to win a world title of some description, because they're going to absolutely contrive to get him into like a vacant shot against some absolute no mark. But this is a sort of offbeat turn. I thought he would just carry on knocking out the likes of Ryan Borland, and then they brought Tyson on board. Is it an exhibition? I think Netflix are involved. I haven't really looked into it too much because it's an absolute shit show, isn't it? And that's just the way boxing seems to be at the moment. He's trading off his popularity, his personality, he's making money. He's not for me. To be honest, I'm not interested in anything he has to do on YouTube. I do watch his fights because it's sort of tangentially in boxing. And I've given him credit in the past. He takes the sport seriously, he trains, but he is a circus show at the end of the day. And he's not the only one in boxing. What Tyson will do to him, I have no idea. I don't know the rules of the bout, who's sanctioning it, where it's taking place. And it's all for TV, all for show.
I'm against it unless they give me a job in it. Then I'd be fucking Netflix and chill. I'd be
Absolutely.
fucking all over this fight.
Brilliant event, Rob, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's got potential.
Oh, no.
Andy, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Look, I've said my piece on it, well, briefly. I just don't think that it's going to be a fight. It'll be a sparring session. I just, Mike Tyson is permanently stoned these days, right? You don't fight when you're stoned. It'll be like a movering session. And as Steve says, like I don't. I think I've seen Jake Paul fight fully once, and it was against Tyson's brother, whatever his name. What's his name again? Tommy. It's the only time. And if Mike wanted to, I don't know about injuries or if he's got any problems with through his career and that he's just suffering with just now. He's had neck problems and that as well. I still believe if Mike Tyson wanted to at that age, if he wanted to, would have at least one good or two good bursts in him that he could fucking lay waste to him by trap him on the ropes or in the corner, and I believe Tyson could unload if he wanted to. But where's the money in that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, what does he care? What the fuck does he have to lose?
Well, what's he going to knock him out for? What's the point? He gets nothing out yet.
Yeah, he does. He fucking like got one last fucking knockout before he fucking called it a day. I'm with you into the sense, and I told Donnie this. I'm like, I think it's an absolutely ridiculous thing, blah, blah, blah. It's probably set up and, Paul to win, etc. But Mike Tyson, it used to be Mike Tyson was dangerous for 4 or 5 rounds. I think he's probably still dangerous for 1 or 2.
Yeah, he's dangerous, mate. But I just don't think Tyson's going to take it that seriously because he knows. Look, do you remember?
Look how seriously Look how seriously he took the Roy exhibition, dude.
Wait a minute. I can't remember. I don't think I even watched it, mate. I think Rob could maybe fill me in on that detail. But remember Julius Francis knocking out that little shit house in the street? Remember that?
Yeah.
No, but go on.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, Steve remembers it, so we'll get you the link. Right. So anyway, Julius Francis got knocked out of Mike Tyson. Right. Ex-pro fighter. He's working security. He iced someone who was squaring up to him, who was like really just looking for bother, and he got dropped away with one shot. Mike Tyson commented on that very thing. He says, "Why would you fuck with that guy? You ain't in his league, right? Jake Paul ain't in Mike Tyson's league. If Mike Tyson wants to kick up fuck, man, he could do it. Look at the guy in the airplane. He fucking started like fucking about with Mike Tyson, slapping his head or whatever it was, and Tyson decided, fuck this shit, I'm going to get involved. There's not a guy who you want to piss off. I believe he could do it if he wanted to, but I don't think he will because it doesn't make business sense. I don't think. My opinion. I just think it does. Going in there and destroying a guy and absolutely put him in the morgue or put him in the hospital, it's just not going to work, man. How's that going to look?
I don't like. He's not going to put him in the fucking morgue or the
hospital.
Look at
it said as well. Look at it said about that fight there last night. Friday night. Joshua and NGANNOU getting badly knocked out like that. Now I say that NGANNOU is a combat fighter, but he ain't professionally trained fighter as a boxer, right? So he's going to have technical deficiencies. He's also up in age and that as well. He got badly chinned. If that is someone maybe even below his level as a fighter, man, he could end up in the fucking hospital. Jake Paul he's done marvelous for himself, but he ain't a fighter. Tommy Fury beat him. Mike Tyson could absolutely annihilate him if he wanted to.
That's the big anomaly, isn't it, with Paul? That's the big anomaly with Paul. It was the what if factor beforehand. He was on Showtime. He was selling pay-per-views. He was exciting, knocking people out, and then he lost to Tommy Fury. That's not a good look. Now he's on the zone.
everybody get this clear. Everybody's listening who's like, oh, it's intriguing. It's this. I said, fuck. If Mike Tyson damages that guy, the whole thing is finished for everybody. Everybody who's who's on the YouTube scene, you're fucked. You're not going to get. It's just not going to get sanctioned. If Mike Tyson comes out and brutally, absolutely annihilates that guy, and something seriously happens to him, fucking hell! Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it? Mike Tyson, fucking mid-50s, coming out and absolutely annihilating that. Can you imagine it?
Oh yes.
Jesus Christ, man! Oh, he's back. Iron Mike Tyson's back. No, he's no dude. He's just a trained fighter who's a different league to Jake Paul if he wanted to cut loose. I just don't get it. We're going to get a body one night, mate. We're going to get it. But Tyson's Tyson's not going to do that, mate. He's too switched on for that.
I don't know.
Fuck. No.
Well, he might disconnect his head like you man.
Or a wee body tap or something like that. But no, the Jesse Ferguson uppercuts, mate, that sends him to the shadow realm. You know, it's not going to be one of those fucking things.
Rob, let me throw that. Rob, I'm going to throw this at you, and I'm just throwing this out there. Put yourself in the shoes of Mike Tyson. All right, you're once known as the baddest man on the planet. everybody used to tune in to see you fight. Now, Rob, you're seeing, as Mike Tyson, all these YouTube guys getting these huge paydays with no background, no real ability, etc., etc. And if you're Mike Tyson, do you go into this thinking, you know what? I'm just going to knock this motherfucker out and shut this YouTube train down?
I don't know, man. I can't begin to even think what this fucking fight looks like. Do you get me? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Do you get like the old washed up version of Mike
No, how
Tyson
do you
and Jake
envision
Paul?
it? It's 20 years since Mike has fought against Jake
We've got to
Paul.
look at him against Roy Jones. We got to look at him against Roy Jones, and he looked good. He looked like he kind of carried Roy for a lot of that fight. Like, Roy looked like he kind of, they eased off. They were having that kind of, but he was looking like, the Tyson of old. The head movement was there, the hooks and all were there. But like, he's fucking 60. Like, do you know what I mean? This guy's fucking Jake Paul is never going to pass the steroid test, is he? By the way, he's juiced up to the gills by a long shot. Like, so I don't know where does that go. Or what does it even look like? Do you know that way? I don't know. Like, I think is it scripted if it's on Netflix? Like, is it just an exhibition? Is there going to be no knockdowns, no 12-round decision? I don't know. Like,
it's definitely not going to be a scheduled 12-round fight. I'll tell you that, Rob. Maybe 8.
10 rounds, maybe.
I think 8. I don't think they're going to. Yeah.
If any of you seen Mike Tyson, like
8 rounds, they can have a fiddle about. Then I'd say just take the money and run.
Rob, if you've seen the videos of Mike Tyson showing like people who want to, who maybe ask him questions how to get to the body, and he's pivoting and he's showing he could if he wanted to, surely.
Yeah, maybe rip the body, destroy him or something. I don't know. But then is his shot resistance gone? Like, what if he walks onto what if Jake Paul knocks out Mike Tyson, a la Buster Douglas, fucking 30-something years later? I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. I can't fucking.
No.
What if he gets a little overconfident, a little loosey goosey? I don't know. Like, it's just.
Well, and you also, like, the one thing that, like, when it comes to, like, trying to judge these fights, that kind of messes with me and seeing the outcome is if you go back and when you see when Floyd Mayweather had the exhibition against Logan Paul and he cracked Logan good and he just held him up.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell their agreement really is.
Like, honestly, all of those exhibitions stink. Every one of them stink. Like, there wasn't a good fight in any of them. There's been no good Jake Paul fight. There's been a couple of good knockouts. The Fury and him fight was a fucking shit fight. The other YouTuber probably beat Fury. McGregor and fucking Mayweather was shit. Like, the only one that was seminally interesting was, it's not even a word, semi-interesting was the Ngannou Fury one because he ripped up the script and dropped him. Like, but other than that, every one of those cross promotions has been absolute dog shit. Like, so, yeah, it's hard to get excited for him no matter who's involved. You know that way?
Yeah, as we say, you just don't know when one of these guys is going to get hurt.
That's the thing, and I don't know how that hasn't happened on some of the Misfit shows as well. Like, so there's been some severe mismatches been left fly there. Like,
I mean, remember that? Not even just the M shows. Remember that one was it a Top Rank show? Remember that the two women.
Oh, that was
last got knocked out in 30 seconds. Well, like she'd never been in a ring before. Didn't know how to defend herself.
Oh, that was DAZN. That was wasn't it? A Sparza or a Strada against somebody that one.
Aye, something like that.
The wee housewife, Matilda or Miranda, got battered.
I'll tell you what.
Again.
After seeing Headley Scott live and trying to figure out how he
found
18 people,
I forgot to mention him last week.
I'm like, well, how the fuck did that happen? Like, that was
wasn't he 18 and 1? Who the fuck is he beaten, man? He was terrible. He was slapping. Did you see him?
It was.
No, I never saw him.
You not see him? He looked like he'd been dragged off the street smoking weed for the last 10 years, man. He was shocking.
Well, let's not fucking hold that against him. We got some bad points as well.
And he's totally undersized. Like, of his 130 pounds, 8 pounds of it are dreadlocks. It was fucking
forgot
awful
about him last week, man. I thought the same as you, Matty. How the hell did he beat 18 people? That's what I want to know.
I fucking those 18 people. I want to just go and knock on each and every one of their doors and challenge them to a fight. I feel confident. Anyhow, yeah. So the shit show rolls on. We're going to talk now about a fight that definitely seems to be moving forward, and one that is rumored. The fight that definitely seems to be moving forward is Cinco de Mayo weekend. We're going to have Canelo Alvarez taking on Jaime Munguia, putting that undefeated record on the line in pursuit of all of those pretty belts that Canelo has at 168. Steve, this isn't the Benavidez fight. But I'm not going to complain because I did list this among those fights that I deemed acceptable when the other Charlo was floated around. I'm like, no, that's fucking ridiculous. This is a decent fight. But maybe the funniest thing about it is that after all of this, it might still end up as a PBC promotion.
Did Canelo find out that Munguia isn't Mexican after all, and I take it, aye? Is there some sort of kind of like,
I don't know. They've kind of forced his hand, haven't they? Really. And as Matty said, Al Heyman, he is. I know he keeps on wasting people's money and all, but Canelo tried to call his bluff. Says, right, I'm not going to fight. I want to fight these guys, not any of these, any of the ones you've got for me. You put them in front of me or I'm gone. And Heyman's like, okay, I don't care about the contract. Off you go to DAZN. Then he comes back with his tail between his legs. And I don't know, he wanted Charlo, didn't he? Then he wanted Belanga. In light of those options, this looks like a good fight. And I think it will be, actually, Matty. I think it'll be as fun for as long as it lasts. Munguia is pretty reckless. He has got to be on the jab a little bit more lately, but he's with Freddie Roach now, a more offensively minded coach. I think Munguia will stand and trade, which should make it entertaining at least. And hopefully Munguia can bring like a kind of an unpredictability to the fight, which will draw out Canelo. It might end up like Canelo Kirkland, I was thinking, catching him on the end of these shots, exploiting these gaps.
That was such a gross knockout. Fucking Kirkland's head almost spun around like an owl.
Even up to that point as well, just finding him defensively reckless. I know Munguia's not quite as bad as that, but he'll believe in his power. He'll come and fight. And yeah, Al fronted him up and give him the options, and nobody was willing to pay him what he wanted for the opponent level that he wanted. So I think it's the best of a bad bunch, really. We all want to see Benavidez. Canelo's ducked that fight as far as I'm concerned. And I don't mind the Munguia fight in light of that. He's only got a few fights left, though. If he ends up retiring without fighting Benavidez, I think it will be a bit of a stain on his record. And they're talking about the Plant rematch. If Plant gets rid of somebody, who wants to see that? Like, I mean, surely not. But Munguia, Canelo, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a fight that's worth watching. I'm going to be tuning into this one. I bet they're going to have a decent undercard on it too. Andy, for me, I just want to see what happens if Munguia touches Canelo good one time and has the chance to back him straight up and unload. We haven't really seen anyone be able to buzz him and do that in quite some time. And I'm just curious. I'm just curious how the big dude is going. What he'll be able to do if he sees a chance, because we know he's not shy when it comes to throwing punches.
Yeah, well, I take the point. I think it will be an interesting fight to the point that Munguia is a kind of kill or be killed type fighter. He will stand in there. I'm assuming if he is hurting that, he will be trading it out with Canelo to the fucking bitter end. So, but I also take the disappointment for the Canelo side. Well, if you look at Canelo, who he's no fighting basically, then compared to this. I'm still not happy with it, to be fair. It's an okay-ish fight, as I say, but I just think that Canelo is a few levels above Munguia. As I say, I suspect Munguia will give a good account of himself. He will be brave. He'll stand in there, but I think Canelo will end up wearing them down. I think it'll probably be the body shots that maybe get him in the end. Saying that, providing that Canelo hasn't been got old overnight and sliding down a hill or whatever and that with the eye off the ball, so to speak, but. Another thing as well is I noticed was it May 4th you said, Matty. So again, hopefully Munguia has been given the proper adequate time to train for it as well. I mean, what is that? 6 weeks? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
He fought Ryder at the end of January. I think it was like the 23rd or something like that.
Straight back into a camp then as well. So
no, he got about a 6-week rest before getting into an 8-week camp, give or take. Not terrible.
Yeah.
And he didn't get messed around in that Ryder fight too much. He pretty much had his own way.
Yeah, but he's had a lot of miles on the clock though, mate. That 54 reign was, again, okay, it wasn't the best, but it was a grueling reign. You had to make weight, you had to make the the sparring sessions and the training camps, not everything. So he has got a lot of miles on the clock in that regard.
Good point, Andy. What about him at 168 as well?
Exactly. He skipped 60, did he know? Or he wasn't at 60 for long. I mean, right up to 68. Well, I think he maybe had one fight at 60 possibly. Went up to 68.
Now he had a handful of them.
He has filled out. You can see he's clearly filled out at the weight in terms of his upper body at the bang. But it's been 27 possibly, but it's been a hard career for him actually. I remember saying to Steve,
well, that Derevyanchenko fight was fucking vicious.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And you add all that up, being a Mexican, fighting those Mexican gyms, come up as a kid. I don't know about his amateur career if he's got any of that, but if he's got no amateur career, you know what kind of career he's had. Then he's been training in the gym, those brutal sparring sessions they have done in those gyms in Mexico, man. So
I think his first pro fight was when he was still 16 or something like that. I think he was a young kid like Canelo.
Canelo's no spring chicken. He's pro at 15. You know, it's going to catch up with him soon as well. You know. So
in hindsight, Andy, they played a blinder, didn't they, when they tried to get Munguia to fight Golovkin? Do you remember he ended up fighting Martirosyan? And we thought, oh, he's too green, he's too young. Las Vegas rejected it. He's been on everybody's lips since then, really, hasn't he? That brought him into the public consciousness. I wonder whether there was more of a play than they actually probably expected the fight not to get accepted, but they brought him into the public's consciousness then, into boxing, and he's been relevant ever since.
Yeah, as I say, obviously
Munguia's first fight was at 16.
The promoters were at the time actually. But they kept him active, and then I think Oscar then got him signed up no long after it, and that's when he started then vacating the belt and moving up in weight. He's a decent enough fighter, mate, but again, I just think Canelo was just I think his levels above. But I think
he's
also
only 27.
Again, well, he's an old 27 though, mate. As I says, you know, he's had a hard. You look at that 54 reign, mate, and BoxRec will tell you the full story. I mean, Christ sake, BoxRec's telling us that guy Iglesias is 5'8" when he's 6'2". It doesn't tell you the full story. He has took a lot of punishment, as I say, making 54 at that title reign for at least 2 years. He got involved in a couple of heavy fights. He mentioned that Derevyanchenko fight, which was brutal as well. He can't keep taking that. I say he said he had to make the weight in that as well. New up at 68, missing 60 entirely. Maybe he just felt like it wasn't worth kind of cutting the weight again for a sustained period. But then again, he's now jumping into another camp immediately after, no long after a fight. You just don't know what he's nursing in terms of injuries and that as well, you know. So, but in terms of Canelo, I mean, you can say being the face of the sport, he is. You can say that he's got the right to pick and choose at this point. But it's going to end with Benavidez at some point. And if it is going to end with Benavidez, then to me at least, or to my bad mind, Canelo's clearly waiting them out to see the weight. The weight is going to be key, and I'd imagine the longer it goes, the harder it's going to get for Benavidez to strip that weight off at 68. Right, and that's all it's going to be.
Well, and the rumor is doing something for an interim belt or something at 175 with Benavidez and Vosdik. Vosdik only having a few fights in his comeback so far. I think that's a bad fight for Vosdik.
I wouldn't go too far above the weight limit in that one. I mean, it depends what Gavozic can make actually these days. And that, so maybe it will be at 75, but
it is at 75.
Is it 75? So again, he's just got to watch that. He's got to maintain the weight after this fight. You know, he's got to keep it low. Doesn't want to be chasing and draining himself in that. Or does Benavidez? Does he prove that he is that badass? Skip the weight and then just go to war. I mean, I suppose Canelo would have a heavy clause in there as well in terms of the weight and that as well, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting fight for me, Rob. I'll give you last word before we move on to one more topic before our previews.
What are you interested in? Sorry.
Jesus, fuck you, ADD motherfucker.
Yeah, don't be bullying me. Come on now. I think you're going a bit too far there, Paddy.
Jesus. Jaime Munguia against Canelo Alvarez.
Oh, yeah. I think Steve kind of said it best. We're not getting Benavidez. It looks like a duck from Canelo. We could say it doesn't make business sense, but he's the one who says he's the face of boxing, yada, yada. Boxer says one thing, does the other. Fucking usual story these days. I don't think Canelo owes us too much, though. I think his resume up to the Golovkin, to 2 Golovkin fights was pretty solid. Fought a lot of Liams and that then in a kind of a cash grab really on the PBC, and he's been doing what he wants for the last 10 years. This was his sign off, and this was the last we get to see of him. The last 2 fights, I'd be disappointed. I kind of would like to see that passing of the torch sometimes. But I think Benavidez is too hot for him at the moment. Munguia, I think he's going to be too much class for Munguia. Munguia, solid operator, strong guy, durable guy, tough guy, but his style of fighting is going to be ultimately what knocks miles off his career. And I just think he's tailor-made for Canelo to look good, stepping off from combinations. And I just think he's still got too much. Although he is showing signs of decline, which is natural for a guy his age. He's been active since he's 15. He's got a lot of miles on the clock. Like, he's been up and down weights like it's nothing several times over the last few years. So you got to wonder, would that take his toll on him too, and would he ultimately pay the price and come a cropper maybe to the overactive Munguia? It's an interesting fight. It's not. I can't remember. I think the Canelo Plant was a good fight. Canelo Saunders was a good fight. The kind of last you've seen him at his best. I thought he was good against Ryder, but not as convincing. And I still think Canelo has the edge, but if the last two fights are between Munguia and Berlanga, then I wouldn't be totally surprised to see one of them two maybe upset the apple cart either.
I think that this is definitely Canelo's most live opponent since Bivol and Golovkin.
Yeah.
So,
since Golovkin he's fought. Oh no, he had the third fight with Golovkin. Was that after or before Plant and Saunders?
That was after Bivol.
French and Saunders.
Yeah, but anyhow, it was. I'm looking forward to it. So we got that one coming to us May 4th, Vegas, I would assume. And one more topic. This is a rumor at this point in time, but there are talks that Terrence Crawford will be taking on Chris Eubank Jr. at 160 pounds. My personal hunch is it will be for the belt that maybe they'll finally force the Charlo to vacate at 160, the WBC, I believe that is. But Andy, I think this is a very interesting fight for Bud, kind of making his way up to 168, maybe hoping this will entice it. I still think that's on the table. But I think that, very strategic fight too, having had Eubank in the gym with them. Bomac should be able to come up with some sort of a game plan to dissect this guy, but I still see it going to points. That's just my hunch.
So is the fight signed? Sorry.
It's strongly rumored.
I mean, whatever, man. I mean, I suppose Crawford needs a fight. I'd like to see him active, but at 60, really? I don't know. I mean, as we mentioned, I think 54 starting to kind of get a few fighters coming through that Bud could definitely fight. I mean,
he's not interested in hanging out. I think he's thinking, I can have one fight between this, but I want Canelo in September. If I'm in his mind, that's what I'm thinking.
Canelo's never coming to 60, so Crawford's
no one saying exists. Yes, and he said he would.
But Crawford said he's going to go to 68.
He's fucking said he absolutely would go to 68.
No, then I don't give a fuck about the Eubank fight. I just want to see Crawford fight Canelo. Then I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's probably a weight tester, but I mean, it's probably safe money. He's probably done rounds with him, and he's done rounds sparring with him possibly.
Yep,
100%. So I dare say Crawford wins by method of his choosing if he wanted to possibly. I just don't rate Eubank. I mean, Crawford's a killer, man. Come on, to fuck. I mean,
the Nutters thought it was going to be a TKO, most likely a mercy stoppage for Crawford.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was surprised.
Like, it's fucking. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean you're right because it's 60 as well. I mean, Eubank is almost. He must be close to 5, maybe lower in terms of percentage in body fat. I mean, he looks awful. Look at the state him trying to make the weight for Ben. And he made the weight deliberately as well, just to prove that he could. And then what's that taken out of him? For what reason?
Yeah, I'd say it'd have to be some kind of catch weight or whatever and agree to the title. I don't know. It's a strange one. I totally see why Crawford is lining it up, but I'm not defending it at the same time. I think, like Andy said, 54 is there. Why not fight the winner of Zoo and Thurman, although that's PBC, isn't it? But Zoo will surely be available. Maybe that's, I get it from Crawford. He's after waiting out in the cold for fucking basically 10 years, looking to get unification fights. They froze him out of PBC, had the last laugh on him, and now he wants the bread. Like, he wants the fucking golden fucking goose before he retires. He wants Canelo. Canelo's after coming out and saying, if I beat Crawford, they're going to say he's too small. If I beat Benavidez,
but if he has a win at 160, that's a harder thing to say.
That's what I'm saying. So I get it. I get why Crawford is maneuvering himself in that direction. I agree with Andy. They've had a look at Eubank, and Crawford's probably thought to himself, I'd eat this guy. Like, but still, it's £60. Like, I know, and I think Eubank would be depleted at 60, so I really don't know what the fuck he's doing. Would he not be trying to, unless it is for a belt, I guess, finally trying to win a version of a world title?
I mean,
that's reputable, but
I see Hamid in the chat saying this is I wouldn't call it a cherry pick like some people are saying on Discord. And that. I mean,
it's a strategic play to try and get a bigger payday, but there's bigger fights out there, better fights for Crawford.
It's a trade fight, really. So it is really. It's a trade fight.
I know Floyd was mentioning fucking the Boots Ennis fight out of pure pettiness, but at the same time, Boots Ennis, is he going to do what fucking they did to him with Boots Ennis and freeze him out? Like, he needs a fight. Like, so I guess he's not hanging around at 47 if he's going to go straight to 60. He probably walks around at 54 anyway. Maybe 60 is not a stretch for him, but 68. Like, he started at lightweight, like, and he's 35 years of age. I can't see him going. Like, I could see him doing
not
it.
A big 68 though, Rob.
Yeah, I know, but he's still 60. He has ways of fucking looking very strong at 68 all the same. You know that way?
Yeah.
And I just think, I don't know, but I'd love to see that fight, but I never know what that fight is going to look like. I don't know how it plays out. Like, I'll have to see Canelo in his next fight to see what he's got left and see could Crawford possibly go up and fucking beat this fucking shit out of him. I don't know. I guess Crawford thinks he can counterpunch Canelo, and he's a good match for him. And stylistically, of course, he's probably the best fighter in the world. Like, so you give him a chance against anybody, but just fellas are not Superman. I always fucking, certain fighters can do it. Like, and
after watching all of this mediocre bullshit, people ducking every challenge that they could possibly find, it would be amazing to see somebody reach for greatness like that. That's why I want
totally.
To happen.
And I remember Floyd, like, at the time, it's like, he went up as far as 54, beat Cotto and De La Hoya 54, 55 pounds. And then people wanted him to go to 60 for Golovkin, and he was saying, like, no, I'm fucking too small. Like, I can make fucking 40 if I wanted to. It's weight classes for a reason. I know Crawford's on the bigger side, but he had to grow into welterweight as well not so long ago. So I don't know. Like, I think the Eubank fight is not too much of a risk for him, especially seeing as Eubank at 60 pounds will be horrific looking. But I don't think Eubank can make 60 pounds. So is this fight going to be at 168? And that's a real fucking, gives it a real different kind of point of interest. But Crawford, I think, is good enough to beat anyone. He's a generational talent. But the question is always asked with fighters, do you bite off too much more than you can chew towards the end of the career? Like, we're just reaching for the stars, that way.
Steve, last word, and we'll move into previews.
Yeah, nothing too much, to be honest. I think it's a chance to legitimize himself for the Canelo fight. If Canelo fights him in September, then it all makes sense. The forgotten element of all this for me is another payday, another big payday for bloody Eubank, another periphery fight, not a circus fight, but another weird fight, isn't it? He seems to get them. He seems to get paid. He's going to get dragged in. Don't really know what Crawford will do to him on the night. It's hard to say, but yeah, he gets an opportunity. And if Crawford's using it as a way to, excuse me, step towards Canelo, then I can see why they're doing it rather than sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, just keep it moving, make some money, fill into the weight. I think it all makes sense. I'd
love to hear the figures for this fight, by the way. I would love to hear them.
Well, after that Spence fight, Crawford definitely has a bigger buzz about him. He's going to have some sort of built-in numbers at this point in time after that. So, but anyways, let's move on because it is getting later. Let's see here. All right, first card for us to mention. Gonna have Pro Box card Wednesday. Of course, I love these things. Gonna have undefeated Marquez Valle. He's a great prospect, taking on Raul Garcia, who is 13-1-1 right now. Gonna have Luke Santamaria. He is definitely a decent fighter, and this is back at welterweight, his more natural weight, against the 11-2 Nicholas Flaws. And a good main event with Kalaj Dick taking on Sullivan Barrera. God only knows if Barrera has anything left, but that if he does, this could be a reasonably entertaining main event on Pro Box there. So check that out Wednesday night. Steve, gotta love the Pro Box. They continue to provide.
Yeah, I like the way they sort of get the contenders, pretenders, guys who've been up and down. Kelvin Davis, I think that's Keyshawn's brothers on the card as well. Barrera, Kalajdzic, good main event. Flaz has shown his toughness in the past. So Santamaria, it's good matchmaking, really.
Yeah, absolutely great matchmaking.
Brenner's no fought in what, 3 years? Almost 3 years?
Maybe.
Just looking
Maybe.
at it now, July 21.
There you go. Well, best of luck to him. Then moving on to Friday, going to have a card on UFC Fight Pass. Callum Walsh continuing his undefeated run, 9-0, taking on the 11-3-1 Doran Yalusinov. Going to have 15-0 Firgal McCrory taking on Carlos Carlson, 25-7. Joe Ward there, Rob, he's keeping going after that. I think he had a freak injury in one of his fights, is why he's
His
got
debut,
that L
yeah, he
on
broke his
there.
leg. Broke his leg in his debut.
Yeah, taking on 29-4-1 Derek Webster. So these Fight Pass cards are starting to get better. Tom Leffler is the matchmaker on these. So, and Dana White has said he wants to play in the boxing game. So maybe keep an eye on that space. Let's see here. Then on Saturday, going to have a card from the Rainton Meadows Arena. All sorts of interesting things going on here, I thought. Going to have Nathan Forrest 6-0 against Kai Richmond 4-1 for the Northern Area lightweight title. Thomas Patrick Ward taking on Amani Bariki. Callum Walton. Well, I think maybe that's where the card quit being interesting, actually. So anyhow, going to have that one. I don't know if there's any television for that. God only knows. Let's see here. This one's going to be on BT Sport from Birmingham. Going to have Liam Davies against Eric Robles Ayala. I think we all just know him as Eric Robles consistently for the IBO Super Bantamweight title. I know you love those folks at the IBO, Steve.
Yes.
Nathan Heaney and Brad Pauls in battle for the British middleweight crown. Pierce O'Leary, undefeated, taking on also undefeated Hovhannes Martirosyan for the International WBC Super Lightweight title. And Zach Parker taking on Tyrone Zig. Dennis McCann taking on Brad Strand, both them undefeated. Elton James taking on Owen Cooper, both of them undefeated. Actually, that might be an I. I'm a little far away. Joe Joyce and Cash Ali. And then Ezra Taylor against Prince Oko Narti. Fuck me, Andy, this card, it kind of appears to be stacked, actually.
Yeah, it'll be an Uncle Frank special, mate. But another fucking midnight finish, possibly, as well.
In what country? Fuck.
Well, yeah, several countries, mate. Spanning many time zones.
Frank goes against time zones.
Oh, my word, man. Fucking Aussies will be getting up for the going for lunch, mate, and the card will still be going on.
Time's only an illusion for Frank.
I know, mate. But there was one point I was going to make actually on this card. That Mexican that's fighting Liam Davis, he actually beat Lee McGregor actually in Scotland. I don't know if many people remember that fight, but it was an upset at the time. I think McGregor had been out the ring for a wee period of time actually. That Tyrone Zuga is fighting Zach Parker. He got iced off. I'm sure Rocky Fielding beat him. Give me a second. Yeah, Rocky Fielding beat him back in 2018. He's got a wee bit of a patchy record, to be fair. So I think Parker will probably definitely win. Possibly. I'm not too sure if he won by stoppage or anything like that yet. But what else you got in that card? Give me a second. Get the details again. Joe Joyce, that's just obviously a kind of confidence builder again, isn't it? That's just, I think there's Cash Ali even fought at Midlands level or area level, I'm not sure.
Well, I think when he did, he bit somebody.
No, David Price,
was it him?
wasn't it?
Right. And the Belgian that's fighting the Irish kid, and I don't know much about him, to be fair. It's Pierce O'Leary. I think he's been looking good, isn't he? The last number of fights and that. So yeah, it's okay, mate. But again, I'd imagine it'll be a dragged out process. And if you get
sounds like an old fucking
well,
Box Nation card or something, doesn't it?
Aye. Well,
Bunsey on the sofa with Steve
reeks
Lilly.
of old Satanta fucking show or something.
Well, there's Box Nation's made a reappearance on YouTube
Well,
there.
Box
Totally
Nation can
unrelated
come
to
again.
anybody, of course. Great bunch of lads, obviously across there. We know who we're.
Great bunch of lads, and if they're employing anybody that they want to pay over the top salaries too.
Yeah, if they go to Dubai for that meeting, but
no
you know
money
who,
in boxing,
but you know
Rob.
what. Not our level, Rob. You know what I'm saying?
Not our level, that's right. Jesus, that only brings problems anyway. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Too much or not enough, it always causes problems. Fuck money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For the love of the sport, mate. Fuck everybody.
But good card, Steve. Good card. I'll give you last word, then we'll move to the next one.
Yeah, just quickly, there are some good fights. McCann, I think didn't he look a bit wobbly in a previous fight? I think he fought that that guy who gives everybody trouble. He's fighting Brad Strand this time. Zoiga, I don't know what he's been up to lately. I remember him fighting Smigger Smith years ago. Zach Parker lost to Ryder. O'Leary's a good banger. I'm sure I've seen his opponent, that Martirosyan, against somebody, can't remember who.
There's a lot of Martirosians. I think it's Smith in Armenia, basically.
Even this one, I think I've seen him. Robles, Andy said he fought Lee McGregor against Davis. That'd be good for Davis. Is a good fighter actually from Telford. He's exciting. He's really improved, Davis. And Heaney wasn't supposed to beat Bentley. He's coming out quick, fighting Brad Pauls. They're trying to nail down the Stoke card. And Joyce, bit of name value coming back against Cash Ali. Bit of everything here. Bit of an Aussie show. A lot of 10-rounders. It's a good Saturday night domestic card, I think, really.
So what you're saying, Steve, is you think your man can find McCann?
He's a bit elusive, but I think they'll get to him in the end.
You need Terry McCann anyway. Ex-British champion, you know.
Or Jerry McCann.
Aye.
Hide and seek champion. Anyway.
We got that going on Saturday. Let's see here. What was next? Let's see here.
That's such an underrated comment that Matty missed it.
What?
Jerry McCann, he's a great hide and seek champion.
I just want to get out of here. It's not.
Do you not remember the old Daily Sport? Hide and seek champion found dead in the cupboard.
No,
I remember speak about your parlays, Matty, for the weekend, you know.
For fucking Christ. Anyhow, I don't know if there's any television for this one, but I ran across this decent card from the Fox Theater in Redwood City.
Did you have the draw on Vargas, by the way, Matty?
I did not. I did not. I had Vargas, so I got a push.
Oh, look, it's better than a pull.
Amen. So this card in California. This card in California is going to have Peter Kamakov. He's undefeated at 14-0, or maybe that's 11-0. Got some shit on my screen.
Matty, you can't be bringing Peter Kamakov chat at 10:05, man.
Yeah.
Peter, come.
Steve, he's taking on Vaughn Alexander, who I believe we saw on a Pro Box card about a month ago.
Oh,
come on, my screen.
Yeah.
Screen.
But Rob, this is why I pulled this card. I thought this was very interesting. From the great state of California for the Boxing Union of Ireland Celtic Super Middleweight title, gonna have Tommy Hyde against Craig McCarthy.
That's Gary Hyde's son, is it not?
His son, yeah, absolutely.
Good on him. Yeah, actually, I heard good things about that kid. More power to him. Hope he does well.
Yep, couple other decent-looking fights on there. Comebacking Vic Pasillas, who has had a god-awful number of fights fall through in the last few years, apparently, is taking on 14-2 Jorge Villegas. Then you're going to have 14-1-1 Manuel James going in against 7-1 Pedro Panuri Borgaro. So, yeah, decent little card there. I don't know if there's any TV for that, but that's just a couple decent scraps on that one. Next, going to have from the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. Wait, do we want to do this one? No, wait, let's do this one fucking first, actually, for the love of God. So I just thought this one was weird, Steve. Here's a bizarre fight for you. From Lynchburg, Virginia, topping this card, you're going to have Scott Sigmund. We've seen him in a number of fights.
Oh, he fought Roy Jones?
Yeah, on one of Roy's weird fights against... Still fighting, still somehow undefeated, now at light heavyweight, Dusty Hernandez Harrison. There's a random prospect from the past. Still 36-0-1, Steve.
Man, I can't believe they're finding these. Sigmund fought Roy Jones for the WBU German version cruiserweight title in 2018.
I must have forgot about that one.
I think that must have been Roy's. That might have been Roy's final fight, you know. Oh no, he fought that Anthony Pettis afterwards, which was sanctioned as well. Yeah, Sigmund was his one from last fight after Roy beat Bobby Gunn. I think things were starting to take a bit of a downward turn.
Purple patchy was after hitting there, Roy. Jesus, Mary
my God! Yeah, but Dusty Hernandez as well, Matt.
He had a fight in the metaverse, didn't he? Not so long ago.
Yeah,
Steve,
he did. That's
one.
right.
Not counting that. Jesus, Roy, man.
So yeah,
I have nothing more to say.
There's your weird card of the week. But let's go to that one from the Cosmo in Vegas. Going to be an excellent card. We'll obviously get to the main event. Going to run off the undercard here. Going to have 12-1 Tristan Kalkruth against Marquise Weston, who's 15-2-1. Darius Fulgham still running that 10-0 record, going up against Norberto Gonzalez, 24-15. I think I've seen him, sturdy guy. Eric Priest, 12-0, taking on Jose Sanchez Charles. He's 21-4. Floyd Schofield on this card. He's a good-looking talent, taking on the 13-1 Estuary Suero. Steve, not a terrible card. Looks like a couple of
Good
reasonably
card.
matched fights.
Good card.
Yeah.
Fulgham's a banger. Priest decent. Schofield can definitely punch. He's 16 and over 12 knockouts. He's only 21. And his opponent actually was a prospect at one point, Estuary Suero from Dominican Republic. He went in an all Dominican battle in the PBC against Starling Castillo and lost. And now he's in the away corner now. So I think Schofield's going to bang him out. Yeah, it's decent actually. This.
Yep, it's a good-looking card, but the one that I'm really looking forward to is the main event on here. Gonna have my boy William Zepeda, the punch-throwing mofo, taking on Maxi Hughes off of his what many view as a robbery loss against George Kambosos from Oklahoma a few months back. Andy, I think this is a good fight, good test for Zepeda. Hughes can give him some problem, but I do think the pressure, the punches are going to wear on Hughes, and he is going to succumb late to Zepeda, who I think is a real player in the lightweight division.
Two southpaws as well, mate. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, obviously Zepeda's got the power. Maxi's obviously a kind of classic boxer. I kind of agree with you, but it'll be interesting to see if he does get touched, Hughes, can he stand up to it, and if he can stand up to it, for how long. I agree with you. I think he won the Kambosos fight. I thought it was a disgusting decision. But this is a different test altogether, just because Zepeda's supposedly coming in at his prime, is that big hitter. So again, you just don't know. So it's an interesting fight. I would probably. I don't write Maxi off, to be fair, but I just don't think he's got. If it is a competitive fight and it does go the distance, I just don't think he's going to get a shake in the cards, mate. To be fair, I just don't see it. Plus, Zepeda's one of Oscar's boys, and it's Oscar's show, so fair play to Maxi for taking it. Hopefully, he wins, but he's going to have to do more. He's going to have to at least drop him possibly a couple of times, and even then, that might not even be enough to kind of get the win. We saw what happened on Friday night.
Couple times.
Yeah. So again, he just needs to up it a wee bit, I think, as well, and just like leave no dispute with the judges. But I just don't see it happening like that, because Zepeda's power just could be the equaliser, whereas it's a difference between winning a close round late, maybe like a couple of heavy shots. Like, that's just different there. That's what kind of favours the judges a wee bit, and that. So, but yeah, it's going to be a hard one for Maxi, and that he's going to have to box, off a jab pretty well. He'll do a lot of countering, I would think, use a lot of the ring. But yeah, it's a hard ask, to be fair.
Absolutely is a hard ask. Zepeda, young, strong, very active in the ring. Rob, what are your thoughts on this one, and how Zepeda might play in this 135-pound division if he gets through this fight?
I think he's up there. I think Lomachenko's going to beat Kambosos quite easily, so that could set up a fight between him and Lomachenko for the title. I don't know, really. I like Zepeda. I think he's all action. I think he's going to stop Maxi Hughes maybe somewhere after round 8. I think it's just going to be an accumulation of volume. Ends up breaking him down, maybe cutting him. But Maxi Hughes is a good fighter. I don't know. I think, like Andy's saying, he's up against it, isn't he? Like, he's being brought in as an opponent on an Oscar show, Oscar card. And even if he wins fucking 7 rounds, he might only win 5 rounds, that way. So, but I don't see it playing out that way. I just think Zepeda, with the pressure, cutting off the ring, punches from fucking all over the place. I just think he'd be too much for him, too hot for him on the night.
That's my hunch, and man, sometimes these when things are consensus, Steve, we're missing something. We all end up shocked. Are you going to be among the shocked if Maxi Hughes has his hands raised in victory on Saturday night?
Well, yes, but we probably shouldn't be. I think, as Andy mentioned, Maxi beat Cambosos. We all saw that. That was bollocks, man. Cambosos
He
didn't
was
win
on a
that
great
fight.
run. Like if you
Yeah.
if you call that a W and you really look back, like he's rebuilt and he is on a fantastic run where he's been an underdog in most of these fights he's won.
Absolutely, and I mentioned it to him when he came on the pod as well. I was at the first fight that sort of bounced back. He fought James Fryers in Belfast, who was an unbeaten prospect. Maxi was brought over to lose, British title eliminator. He beat him. Fryers never fought again. Hughes went on a mad run, as you mentioned, after that, and ended up at this level and beat Cambosos. I thought Cambosos was sort of shuffling around and working, but he wasn't landing anything. I thought that was a ridiculous decision, but there's levels. Zepeda's a different style. He's looked like an absolute wrecking machine. He did have one sort of dodgy fight a while back, but this is going to be a real test. Hughes will show us a lot about Zepeda, I think. Nobody wants to fight him, but Hughes could mess him about a bit. Hughes isn't afraid to fight anybody. He goes into the backyards. He's a road warrior. He's got a good engine. He won't be intimidated. Good boxing brain. If he gets into a rhythm, it could be interesting. And he's not afraid to get dirty a bit when needed either. He threw the elbow in against Cambosos quite egregiously. If Maxi gets to the cards, as Andy mentioned, I think he might be holding on at that point because Zepeda is a high-activity fighter, to say the least. Very physical, very strong, lots of power. He'll be pushing Hughes to the ropes. If Maxi Hughes can probably move early, first 5-6 rounds, mess him around a bit, maybe win a round or two here and there, can he keep him off late in the fight? That's the thing for me. Zepeda's punch is the equaliser. Hughes lacks the punch to equalise. I don't think he punches hard enough to keep Zepeda off him. There's going to be fighters who are going to outskill Zepeda. Talking about fighting Stevenson, that's a different one altogether. But this will give us an insight into how he deals with that kind of style. And if anyone's deserved a win on the big stage, it's Maxi, but it's an uphill task. I'll be surprised if he wins.
Well, you would be getting pretty good money on that return, I think. I haven't looked at it, but he is definitely coming in an underdog. But you guys will be able to check that out Sunday morning, Saturday, stateside on DAZN, which you can watch if you have some sort of a new Roku stick or an old Fire Stick. But apparently the old ones don't work for shit, and that's the problem that they're not telling anybody about. So anyhow, Steve, I think we have finally wrapped all of that up. And if it's okay with you, we can move to the value of the week.
Absolutely, Matty. I am more than ready to move to the value of the week. People have been sending me stuff all week. I've got as much as I can off you, but you know how it is. We'll see how we get on. Matty's here. Andy's here. Rob's here as well to play us in. The delights down under this weekend. They've had a bit of a visitor to the Today Show. He seems to turn up everywhere. Ozzie Smith might be disgusted, but we're absolutely pleased to see him. Let's have a quick look at the clip here.
I love a Chinese meal. I just love it. You know, how much trouble can you get in?
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
So good.
Well, that clip is ingrained in Aussie culture, right? And now one bloke in the UK is going viral for his love of Chinese meals. His name is Big John, and he knows his way around a Chinese menu. Check this out.
Fashion Chinese. Bash. Curry sauce, sweet and sour sauce, sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style. Very nice indeed. Plain charming. Egg fried rice. Roast up Chinese style. Creme de la creme dish of Chinese. Right, what we've got in here? Salt chili king prawn. Mini spring rolls. Keep the old woman happy. Oh my God. Sweet and sour pork balls. Bon appetit.
Sweet and sour pork.
Oh, there's nothing better sometimes. I mean, that video that you just watched has had 5 million views on TikTok, and Big John has amassed nearly 400,000 followers online. He's now touring Australia with his son Johnny, putting our Chinese food to the test. And they join us live in the studio, guys. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You guys are bloody legends.
Yes.
Well, to end up in Australia after eating Chinese is a bit surreal. I get told off for saying surreal, but it is.
You never thought it would come to this.
No.
How long's this going for, by the way, man?
Oh, it's
There's
amazing.
another 4 minutes.
Oh,
Your man's lighting him up. Your man's like an Australian Aussie. He's an Aussie. Basically, he's like some senior as well, mate. And in your budgie smugglers, you're a specimen. And John gets all like sensitive and all, starts making puppy dog eyes at him. And then it's mad because he's out in Australia. And a young lad that used to play Astro, he's only like 22. He's out in Australia, like, and on his Insta story, here you go. It's Big John, right? To see Big John going around with the fucking bucket hat and in the fucking Speedos, right? Next minute, he has a fucking selfie with Big John, and I'm like, Tommy, man, come on. Like, did I not fucking teach you better? But then 2 seconds later, he's photoshopped one of his mates' faces onto Big John's body. Good man, Tommy. Boss.
Fucking bosh.
Steve, I gotta tell you, while that video is playing, I had never hoped for a copyright infringement so hard.
I'm telling you right now, by you missed the finer detail of that video. I mean, in his kitchen, by he's got all that greasy fat food that's going to fill his arteries up, by and the cheeky bastard that even had the inhumanity to have a fucking diet bottle of cola there lying next to him. By the way, what's all that about?
Maker.
What is all that about?
5 million views of it. That video, apparently, of him coming in with the Chinese. That fella was saying
5 million losers watched that. Then I'll tell you,
including us.
Yeah.
Aussie probably watched about 1 million of them, by the way. Yeah, fucking fat bastard.
What the fuck, man? You send your prisoners there, and now Big John. You guys are fucked up.
They can keep Big John.
Big John went there of his own volition. Some of the rest of them were just fortunate. Ozzy does be sending me non-stop Big John footage, by the way, on Insta for the whole week. He don't be on the pod, but I get a Big John update once a day. I won't tell you what he says, but you can imagine.
Oh dear.
Literally daily updates, by the way.
Yeah, he loves Big John. He pretends he doesn't, but he does. Big John is being seen in Australia. One man who's turned up here. Leicester fans stunned. Why are they stunned? As Tony Bellew turns up at training ground and Kelechi Iheanacho showcases his skills. Of course, Andy, they'd be stunned to see the bomber turning up out of captivity.
Like a sight of Bigfoot or something. Like, oh, there's that fella that was doing a TikTok to Pitbull's Fireball last week. He hasn't been seen in a while.
This is when you need when you need Kemar Roof today, like karate kick him to the head or something like that when he walked in through the door like he did against that Sparta Prague keeper.
Yeah, the difference here, Rob, is that people are actually trying to find Bigfoot.
Aye. Tony, he's loving life at Leicester, showing off his skills. What else have we got here? Here's one for you.
Sorry, I'd just like to know that I did laugh at Maddie's joke there. I just was muted for anyone or not. I didn't leave him with a tumbleweed. Laughed at it.
There's the squad there. We went through them earlier. 4 in a bed, Matty. What did you watch it through? Were you on DAZN watching the big fight, or?
I got it on regular cable pay-per-view. I don't trust the DAZN feed enough.
What type of money were you having to put down for the experience?
$70. You also have to consider the fact it left when I went to work,
70 bills,
and it was still
Good
on
God.
4 hours after I got home from work.
$7.77 an hour, Matty.
If you'd have fucking if you'd have PayPal me 35, I would have just fucking WhatsApp video called you, and you could have watched it from my house with
FaceTime,
me. Would have been better.
Mike.
That's what I want you to do, is make fun of me during my free time.
Exactly.
When I hear people say that they actually hate money, I show them a picture of you, by the way. This guy's the fucking same. You fucking hate your money, man. You keep spending that shit on fucking that.
I like watching boxing.
Fucking hell, man.
Andy, do you know what I'm going to be doing at the end of this month?
Go hopefully get a blowjob for $70, mate. I'll tell you that.
No,
$70.
I'm going to Arizona for the Liam Wilson Oscar Valdez fight with Sinisa Estrada and Yokasta Valle on the undercard.
No, so you're stuck in the toilet season.
Yeah, and the tickets 9 rows back from the ring for $100.
Jesus.
There you go. Have you heard the prices?
Kate Addo going to that one? No.
I don't think so. Have you heard the prices of the Garcia Haney? £250 starting in the nosebleeds.
Just do what I did. Go the day of and pick up all the tickets people paid for that they're trying to get rid of in a blink.
In New York on a fucking that's a rough week with hotels in New York on a 250 starter before you fucking put your hand in your pocket in New York City. That's a fucking tough night, like.
You'd be surprised if New York even sanctioned Rob after last week. I know it's Bellew of the Week and all, but for me, New York State Athletic Commission.
New York State of Mind. He fucking lost the plot. I'm not buying it now. Someone was saying last week, like, is it all theatrics? And I was like, no, he must be like Daniel Day-Lewis. But like, honestly, I'm not buying that shit, man. He's coming out with all the Alex Jones, Kanye shit, the fucking Bohemian Grove.
Tweets.
He's trying to get out of the fight, like, He's either trying to get out of the fight or he's going into the fight knowing full well he's going to lose it, but marking it to the.
I want to look at it. I want to give you another perspective, right? Because I was thinking about this as well, and I've watched all the kind of build up, and I take all the points. Now it does look like he's an intervention. But then I'm not saying that he's Ali, but remember Ali against the first fight against Liston when he's losing the plot at the weigh-in and his fucking heart rate's through the roof. I think he's
maybe he thinks that's his version of this. Like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Hollywood satanic cults are trying to kill me because I know too much.
Garcia
and I'm in this fight with Devin Haney. Like, it's like, you know what I mean?
He's going to walk to the ring with Richard D. Hall holding his belt, Rob.
I see he deleted that comment about being raped or something. Fucking.
It's just, it's all a bit like contrived. It's like he's trying to pull a Kanye. Like, in his head, I'm sure he thinks this is fucking fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, whatever he's doing. But like Paulie Mallon, as you said, like, even if he is genuine with this shit, like, Paulie was brilliant on Pro Box. He's like, this guy's a fucking. He's like, this is not a tragedy, guys. There's no sympathy involved with this guy. This guy's 25 years ago. He's a full-grown man. He's got $100 million. He's accountable for his own decisions. Okay, you guys stop gotta feel sorry for this guy. He's going to keep doing it, guys. You understand me?
Yeah, sounds like Paulie, by the way.
Paulie's class.
I was honestly see if you get a chance and go back to that Pro Box channel and just if he manages to search for the one when he mentions about Tony Weeks potentially having a gambling problem. That is absolute gold, man. Oh, fuck me, it's gold. He repeats, he's got no proof, but he just repeats it like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, well, it's potentially he's got a gambling problem, guys. This is getting quite suspicious, And
that's what people don't understand.
Maybe, he's maybe got debts. Not I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, Paul.
I love a Chinese meal.
Oh, Chinese time is it?
You ought to just cut that. You ought to just cut that, Steve. That'd be
I was trying to
actually.
delete it. Sorry, Andy. I wasn't meaning to kill you. So I was trying to delete that video.
I like that Chinese meal quip. Damn it! It should just be part of the fucking show.
One I should have cut though, Matty, over the weekend when AJ was about to go on his rant, but they managed to stop him and he did something. What was it? He said something like "USYK can't, Fury can't," and I was going to put Jade can't on it. Couldn't quite get it in time. Oh dear! I'll tell you one thing though.
What Bun said there on national television, we wouldn't even say on the pod. Do you know what I mean? Jade, she was dying of cancer. Like, whoa.
I found it very entertaining.
Fuck aye. Aye, and then like what was it? What did he use? The T word, like with the wig on and stuff.
Yeah.
Can't make any jokes, Steve.
Yeah, I know. Cancelled straight away. You see why he never made it to the top, Steve. Eh? You see why he never made it.
Be with the days you could drop the fucking T-bomb on the scot free.
I'll tell you that I'm just glad that Bunce isn't on the comms for women's boxing. He would be done in an instant.
They get him. I think they get him on all right, don't they? With
You
this
need
guy,
to fucking collab with Bunce.
City.
You need to get him on the Chicks with Dig and get the fucking real truth about women's boxing out there.
No, that's exactly what we need.
The Chicks with Dig needs you, Joe Kennedy, Jane Couch, Steve Bunce, and the Gad.
The Gad, yeah.
Fucking liven things up.
Canelo Alvarez.
I'm not kicking Joe Kennedy to the curb for that bunch.
For the listeners who were looking for that live pod, we've decided the venue. We're doing it at Dillian White versus Christian Hammer in Mayo. Hopefully that's the only hammer brought to the event that night.
In Mayo. I'm in the fucking jar of Mayo bags. I ain't going to that shit.
I think you're fine. I think you're fine as long as there's no Italian football fans in the area.
I don't know, Matty. You might need a geography lesson, hermano.
Well, talking of geography lessons, Conor Ben, there he is on the picture, was over the weekend. And so was Manny Pacquiao. And Eddie had plenty to say. Let's have a listen.
It's a big event. You're asking the wrong person because I'm a hardcore fight fan. And he's one of my idols. And I find it quite sad. But I get it. People want to watch that kind of stuff. Just a shame that you have to watch an all-time legend do that, But I get it. Money's money. Good luck to everyone.
And you appreciate time.
Yeah, you'll be philosophical. He'll be right in front of that fucking money.
Very philosophical of a fella with his from a fellow with his pockets overflowing from another trip to Saudi Arabia. He's a lot more zen these days.
It's a hard life, eh? Taking money off His Excellency just to get fucking told what you know how it's going to be happening on his terms as well. By the way, His Excellency will tell you when it's happening.
Yeah, he'll hold your hand and tell you.
You wish him well, of course we do.
Wish him well.
Still waiting on that fucking phone call from His Excellency. Do they do phone calls these days?
Oh,
Tweets or whatever.
We'll know you got it when we'll know you got that phone call for watching an event and see you holding hands with him as you walk to ringside.
We got it when I'm fucking dressing like fucking Floyd Mayweather in them fucking ski boots and all, walking around with handbags, fucking stuff full of money.
We'll not have fucking Frank Warren walking up to us like he did Adam Carroll and telling us he's a fucking wanker, doesn't he? Got a clue. Nah.
I'd say there'd be a lot of that if we got into the mainstream. Actually.
We'll have Eddie Hearn fucking up to us saying, "What are you fucking saying?" But at that point, we would had all the Saudi money, so we'll be able to afford an SAS protection team. So Eddie's fucked. So he's got he can't do nothing to us.
Benson tweeted out from 2016 to 24, Joseph Parker was fourth, and then he listed them: Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Joe Joyce, etc., etc. Andy Lee jumped in and said, and also fought Huey Fury and Carlos Takam when they were at the top of the game. I'm not sure when Huey Fury was at the top of the game, but I heard he's getting his man strength anyway.
Was it you, Rob, that was mentioning about Andy getting interviewed off Matthew Macklin, said they fucking hate each other?
Yeah, I don't think they like each other, dude. It was a very awkward interview, like fucking can't stand each other. And he said that to him, didn't he, in the head-to-head, like, fucking don't particularly like you, like in the fucking... He was trying to call him out that time when he just went to Booth, and he didn't want to take the fight because it was his first fight with Booth, like, or whatever. And then Macklin was accusing him of ducking, like, so he didn't like that at all. Like, yeah, he's got a fucking bit of a streak to him, Eddie. It's certain with certain guys, like, definitely. But you wouldn't blame him. Macklin's a fucking shithead. Where's he going with that fucking hair? I'm not saying anything about Macklin. Obviously, he's a great lad. He's
doing a great job, in my opinion.
He's doing a great job somehow still.
He's trying to look like Cillian Murphy these days with that hairdo, man. It's going to be accepted awards with fucking talking about Greenpeace and Greta Thunberg and all, like a fucking little bit. If there's I just want to go to my bed. Fuck's sake.
There's one for you, Matty. I don't know why, but I quite like this partnership. Like, just always no fucks given, isn't he, man?
It's an unlikely friendship, isn't it? I love the way he's wearing his OnlyFans jumper as well.
And he's got the MAGA hat on as well, for fuck's sake.
That could have a different connotation for OnlyFans, couldn't it?
He's never even been to this country to fight.
He's a bad troll, isn't he, man? The more stick he gets, the more he hangs out with Farage. Like.
Amazing.
Oh, dear.
We want to be honest, yeah.
We want to be honest, exactly.
Hope you fucking die.
Talking of honesty, there's Elusive Raph, him of footage analysis.
Fuck this guy.
He's analysing photographs now. He says Tyson Fury's reaction to Anthony Joshua's knockout of Francis Ngannou. Does a picture tell 1,000 words? I said Joshua Ngannou.
What's he trying to say? Tyson Fury's a crisis actor.
Elusive Raph,
He has been at a lot of these big events.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know what's going on with Fury, but he looked, I don't know. He looked discombobulated and very hyped up over Saudi Arabia this weekend.
I think he sneezed on the salt pot or something like that, you know what I'm saying?
Trapped him in a way like a ventriloquist.
It was good when Ngannou was like, listen, stay quiet because I'll wipe your ass in the ring. He's like, if I lose it in a real fight, my friend, you are short work like this. He was like, Fury was like, no problem. And I was like, yeah, right, pal.
Yeah, Steve. Yes. Jason Chuckway's comment, Andy Lee versus Matthew Macklin, real Irish versus diluted Irish.
Chuckway's on one tonight. He's on good form. Right, final couple from me. We have another video as well, don't worry. Jake Paul's manager, Nakisa Bidarian, responds to Eddie Hearn.
What's he in? The fucking Game of Thrones? One of the
Bedarian
Bedarians.
dynasty. Incredibly sad, he says, that Jake is fighting Mike Tyson, says Eddie. Bedarian said it's incredibly ironic and, as usual, hypocritical of Eddie Hearn to talk negatively about another event. Eddie was standing between Manny Pacquiao, a very small-statured 45-year-old man, and his next opponent, a 27-year-old matchroom fighter who has had issues getting licensed in the UK to box again. It's incredibly sad. He spends more time speaking about other people's business than he does tending to his own. Hey, Rob, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Bedarian.
We're Team Bedarians. Winter is coming.
Bedarian's driving out with a DeLorean shortly, man.
Breathing that fire at Eddie.
That's amazing. Because I was wondering, was that Eddie talking about Manny Pacquiao? And I was like, he's hardly saying that when Conor Ben's lined up to fight him. But it was actually, that's amazing.
There you go. You got caught out. Another one here from Ian Dark. Savage, like Wellington, he says they could use this Saudi boxing venue for American astronaut training because there is no atmosphere. Be noisier fight nights at Bracknell Leisure Centre.
They need the fan man, don't they? Fan man flying around there testing gravity.
And you even had Uncle Frank trying to get the natives riled up about the fucking robbery and Nick Ball, by the way. He won the fight. He won the fucking fight. Didn't he, lads? He won the fight. Fucking brick top loose the top, man.
It's about as loud as Ricky Gravel's local in there, man. It's crazy.
You have fucking Stanley Kubrick stage a fake moon landing in the background.
That shit go, man. Fuck shit.
What about that, Matty?
Fake that shit, didn't they, Matty?
Oh, I've heard that.
They never went to the moon, Matty. Did they? Why did they go back? Like, did he jump up there every weekend? Do Ryanair flights up there for fucking €99 to drop you off near the moon if you could get up there? Like, fucking load of shit that is, isn't it? Up on the moon. Give me a break.
Costs a lot of money to go there, and what are you getting out of the journey?
Or into space? Yeah.
Rob,
hold on, Steve. Rob, I gotta ask you. Like, we all know
moon rocks.
Hold on, Rob. We all know that the moon isn't actually made out of cheese. But would you eat the moon if it were made out of barbecue spare ribs?
Depends how stoned he is.
It's a very good question.
There's some background music here, Matty, called Into Space.
Yeah.
There you are.
Just tell me if you would eat the moon if it were made of ribs and we could
hit the bong, Matty, then dance away to that tune, mate.
Are they ribs that came from fucking suspicious human mutilations? I don't know.
I hate the fact that you guys don't get my SNL reference, but it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, because they don't have it on here. Fuck off. You get our Coronation Street references. You don't even know who Jim McDonald is. You fucking dickhead. Yeah, Sorry, Matty.
That's you cancelled in the comments now, Rob.
Lucky you guys. You get 6-episode seasons of Rowan Atkinson in a period piece. Hooray.
That was a while ago, to be fair.
Google Jerry McCann, Matty.
Hey, I'm just upset at you guys for not giving me the value of the week last week. I flew thousands of miles for what I was planning to do not to happen and finding out at the venue. I thought that if there's any time in my life that I had earned it.
They lied to you as well, mate. They fucking lied.
I thought
to
I
you.
took it easy on you last week, to be honest. That happened to you.
I was a wee bit kind of disparaging, I must admit. I was just having a bit of a laugh over it. It was just at your misfortune, obviously, but they lied to you, mate. That happened to her fucking the night before the weigh-in.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when it comes to irritations of the cornea, it can clear up quicker. It's not like getting an object in there.
Yeah, but she lied to you, mate.
It's hey, I had a great time in Puerto Rico, and they refunded the tickets.
I hope you're out to do anal, by the way, like Donny, because I'll tell you this much, it was a wasted trip. He fucking didn't he?
What?
Well, Andy,
Yes.
you've teed us up perfectly.
You heard him.
You teed us up perfectly here.
Oh, good.
For the final clip.
Go ahead
Need
and
I say more? Here we go.
We really know you, Alicia. We really know you. Niggas really know you. Niggas done really ran through you, nigga. Stop it, nigga. Sonny Fredrickson ran through you. Bunny ran through you. Yeah, Robert Easter ran through you, boy. Hold on. Dominic Doughton ran through you. Hold on. Montana Love.
Rob, you better step in here, mate, serve your missus honour, because fucking AB is fucking slandering her name, mate.
Hey, maybe you do have a chance, Rob.
I've always got a chance, baby.
It looks well, doesn't he, AB, to be fair?
Still alive, dog. I think AB needs to attend a moratorium about slut shaming.
He's in
What
no
is he,
position.
12? Like, he's fucking 12 years of age. Like, he's listing poor AB's body count there. She's maybe, I don't know, maybe she's made some bad decisions. I don't know if I look at her the same now.
You lying
after this.
bastard! You told me you went like Ross Geller when he fucking seen Jennifer Aniston getting taken out for that prom date. You standing there with a fucking bunch of flowers looking down like biscuit earth. That was you. That's what you told me. You were disappointed.
No, but I think she might be getting scratched off the laminated list, seeing as we're doing Friends references after Robert Easter Jr. I don't know if I can forgive her. Do you know what I mean? So much wasted talent, like too much time hanging out with AB. But AB's talking about posting footage, which could land him in some serious hot water. I don't know if he's up on the revenge porn laws, but it could be another night in the slammer. But let's see it.
Fucking Rob's over here like fucking Donald Trump, like, Russia, if you have the videotape, you could just send it this way.
No.
Take it
No.
and use it.
No. It's Lance Armstrong you're thinking about, mate. Extraordinary allegations require extraordinary proof. So...
That's fucked up.
I tell you what, though, right? Lance Armstrong, he was doping and all. Everyone, so what? Fucking testicular cancer, he has his balls lobbed off. He's cycling up a hill. Who gives a fuck? What does he care for? Like, he raised a lot of money for cancer. Let him fucking take as many juices he wants. Just the fuck away. So he's fucking cycling. He's not hitting anyone.
What did he have left? What did he have left after that? Just fingering Sheryl Crow? Let the man live.
Remember Broner put out that video of him fucking with the two hood rats, eh? Jesus Christ, man, it was a baby's arm. He was fucking packing out, eh?
Right. I think I've got one final video from Ricky Graville.
Oh, is that one, Steve?
No, not one of them, thankfully. Tyson Fury talking smack about his excellency. Here we go.
What did he
apparently,
say?
It wasn't Turkey. No. It was Teresia. Apparently, one of AG's guys. Apparently, it was.
Oh, right.
Play it again for Matty.
He called him a useless C-nut.
Play it again, mate. Let me hear it.
Hang on, here we are, Matty. Have a listen. Oh dear, going in. Right.
He's gonna get beheaded.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I've done enough. Anything from you, Andy?
Yeah, a couple, mate. One for Ray Vargas. Apparently, Nick Ball's an Arab, apparently. So, I don't know if anybody caught that post. Apparently, it was like he was finding his own backyard.
Oh, yeah, he went to his own. That's why he's backyard.
Fucking Nick Ball's an Arab, apparently. So, he's the whitest Arab I've ever fucking seen in my puff.
Nick Ball, baby.
Similarities between fucking Saudi Arabia and Bootle.
I don't know if anybody caught Israel Madrimov's post-fight interview, but when he did at the end in his own native tongue, it was like a fucking Oscar acceptance speech, man. Jesus Christ! and then Eddie asked the fucking translator to translate that for us. I'm like, fucking fuck off, man. Move on.
Eddie needed his little translator, mate, who writes everything down on the notepad.
Aye, the Spanish boy.
Yeah.
One for Conor Ben, man. He's like, I think he's saying like rumors. He's in advanced talks or something like with Manny Pacquiao and Saudi Arabia next. And he's quoted. He's saying, "I can't confirm or deny it. If there's anyone who can make fights happen, it's his excellency here in Saudi Arabia. The public want that fight. So for me, it's a matter of giving the public that fight." I'm like, I think you and I and Rob and that were all thinking, what fucking public is he talking about here, by the way? Because I ain't interested in that fucking fight. Nobody is. Surely to Christ.
No.
Well, Eddie is, obviously.
Especially not Bidarian, anyway.
Yeah. I think Rob mentioned the one for NGANNOU for firing out the warning to Tyson Fury. If I lose my shit, man, you're fucked. So basically, that was fucking quality, man. I loved that one. And I don't know if you missed this one, Steve, but Box Nation's back. Did you know that?
Apparently so, yeah.
Back this week. I don't know if IFL Umar fame is involved, but anyway, they've got exclusive content. Already got something like 60,000 subscribers or whatever it is on YouTube. No bad after just starting there. What was it, 2-3 days ago?
Well, didn't he take over Box Nation, then changed it to like a different name or something, and said, "Oh, this is my new venture," and then it went back to Box Nation. I'm not really sure what's happening there.
I don't know, mate. We need to ask. I think, but I think I'm a good bunch of guys that's running it though. I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely. Anything else, Andy, from you?
That's it, mate.
Lovely jubbly, thank you. Matthew, anything from you, please?
Nothing I can think of.
Oh, Roberto.
Just the Ryan stuff, like just all that shit, like. Oh, what prompted that fucking AB versus AB beef there, Broner and Baumgartner, was that Bill Haney was seen training Baumgartner, and then AB posted out, baby, if you want to get better, stay away from Bill Haney. He's just going to put you like a hoe on the hose stroll, because you know the way Bill was supposed to be a pimp from Oakland. But I don't know if anybody watches the podcast with rappers Cameron and Mace. It's really fucking big in America. They do a lot of NBA stuff, but they delve into boxing occasionally. And Cameron had said, you know, he thought Haney lost the Lomachenko fight, but they had Bill Haney as a guest, and he was fucking gold. I finally understand Bill Haney's position, because Devin is not that outspoken, and he's not that great of a trash talker, and he's not that charismatic. But Bill Haney kind of tries to play the promotional role, the Don King of the fucking Devin Haney, you know, he's that component, like. But he went on there, like, and he was fucking flaming up Floyd. He was flaming up AB. He said, you never know Goofy. And you see, he said, you see Adrian Broner on YouTube, and you think you know Goofy until you meet him in real life, and then you really know what fucking Goofy is. Flaming AB, flaming Floyd, saying it's over for Floyd and all. He's a bitter old man. Haney beat his
one
ass
for
in
Floyd as well,
sparring.
man. Stadium. He's there in Switzerland on his own and getting pictures taken in London, standing up against a fucking phone box. Floyd, you have any idea how many people and dogs have pushed up against that fucking phone box, man?
Yeah, like it's like you're not stunting on Europeans with places that we can go to for fucking $19.95 on Ryanair if we book up 6 weeks in advance. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck off with that shit. Like, but yeah, that whole thing and that subplot, obviously with Ryan Garcia. Oscar actually was fucking asked Oscar, do you think Ryan Garcia is going to be sanctioned? Do you think this fight is going to be sanctioned? Is this fight going ahead? And Oscar was like, hey, I spoke to Ryan Garcia last night on video call. He's like, you can't fucking come to grips with the technology. And he's focused, man. He looks great. Look, he's going to start camp. He's made promises to cut out the drinking. So this fight's happening, man. I'm like, this fight's not fucking happening, isn't it? And he's going to be fighting a replacement, isn't he? Like, this fight
Oh
is
man, I've seen some people ranking as well as he's acting up this way because he's trying to get out his contract with Oscar. I'm like, fucking give up.
And fucking a gold exchange between Big Bill Haney, who's the new Don King, and AB on Instagram Live, where now there was. I couldn't even try to do the impression because there's too many N words and I don't want to blank myself. You know what I mean? Like, but it was like fucking basically ended with Broner saying, "Come see me, come see me." And old Garcia's not taking this fight. Come see me. And Bill Haney being like, "Yeah." Adrian Broner, so we might see AB versus Devin Haney as the potential replacement of Ryan Garcia. Fucking, you know what I mean? Get shot from the grassy knoll or whatever the fuck happens to him between now and then.
I don't know if it's just, I would love to know what weight AB is just now, actually, because I thought he looked quite slimish as such here on the face.
Oh, AB was threatening to send the Goonies basically from the streets. Do you know what I mean? He was like, I'm in the streets, you know where I'm at, you know, I people's are and all this.
He's off his head.
So.
Right, let's go through them quickly before we get out of here. So we had Big John in Australia playing us in. We had AB going in on AB. Broner on Baumgartner. We had Eddie shitting on celebrity fights while trying to put one on at the same time. We had Fury shitting on his excellency, allegedly, or maybe somebody else. Tony turning up at Leicester. We're glad he's okay. The pundits on DAZN. Andy Lee talking about Huey in his prime. Farage and Chisora. Elusive Raf doing some elusive research on Fury's photographs. We had Nakisa Bidarian, Jake Paul's manager, our new favourite manager in boxing, and Ian Dark as well. Plus all the other ones, Andy, that the boys have thrown in, including yourself. Who are you going for this week?
I liked Ian Dark's comment, actually. What a way to shit on it, eh? I would love to have heard him on the commentary last night if he was working that show. I wouldn't if he would have been as vocal about it. It would have been interesting. Yeah, just the whole Saudi
That's
thing.
actually painted a hilarious scenario in my head of him actually saying that on the commentary.
Well, maybe time he took fucking Uncle Frank to task in that era, some of the Kozagi opponents. Fucking hell. Fuck it, I'm going to go for Conor Benn, actually. What public are we talking about here? Exactly. Who wants to see him fight Pacquiao? Nobody does. You know, it's just all about money for him now because he's got to make that. He's got to make up the losses for all the fucking lawyers that he had on the case and that. So it is money.
Okay, Conor Benn gets the vote for Andy. Who are you going for, Matty?
Yeah, let's go Conor. He's a dick.
Ooh, 2 for Conor Benn. He's having a good week. What about you, Rob?
I'd nearly give it to Conor Benn in advance because if he got a victory over Manny Pacquiao, I imagine he'd kneel to the floor and do that unbearable thing, you know, that kneel to the floor that some fighters do when they won like a fucking lopsided fucking decision that they were supposed to win, like to get some fucking trinket belt. He'd be like kneeling on the ground, holding his hands up around his head as he's finally vindicating all of his food at the fucking expense of fucking ring legend Manny Pacquiao, who's only in the sport because he needs to probably pay a tax bill or something. So yeah, I give it to him, but AB never lets us down, man, brother. He's a fucking idiot. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, he's a fucking grown man. I don't know, man. This guy, he's the gift that keeps on giving. Like, the new AB and Don King fucking combination, let's keep it rolling. Like, because this guy is fucking on the cusp of another big fight sometime soon.
Just very briefly, Steve, on that bench situation. See, was it no British officials in the BBC?
Yeah, it was all aboard. Yeah.
Right, so how's that going to work if he still technically hasn't cleared up his licensing issue? How's he going to get on that card in Saudi Arabia? They'll need to get somebody else in the license.
Exactly, they'll have to have some other kind of jurisdiction, won't they?
Yeah, they would need to, in their own officials, which
have to go to Jordan or Bahrain.
Aye. Bringing the Maltese. I see they're trying to get officiated now with the board now as well.
God, not them. Anyway, congratulations. I'm going to give it to AB as well, so it's 2 for 2. CB and AB, Adrian Broner and Conor Benn, joint winners this week. They might end up fighting at some point, but they are the value of the week winners. 5-6-3. Congratulations, boys. Back to you, Matty.
Thank you, Steve, for that. That was it was a fun-filled adventure. That video, fuck me, that was going on long. I feel bad for Australia right now. I'm sure they'll be sending them back shortly.
Wait alone from that flight, man.
I'd like to thank everybody who was in the chat today, as well as their super chatters and their Jamie and Beat Bop Boop. We appreciate you all. And we hope that you guys will join us here next week as we are lurching ever closer to that Tim Tszyu Keith Thurman fight, as well as Liam Wilson against Oscar Valdez, which I will be attending, and I think is going to be a kick-ass fight.
That happens.
Yeah, I know. I curse everything. What fight on that card is doomed? Anyhow, tune in a couple of weeks and find out more. But it's been fun for Steve Wellings, Andy Patterson, Rob Kelly. I've been your host, Maddie. We'd also like to thank Chuck Wu for coming on, and Hamed. We appreciate you both. And again, we will see you fine folks next week.
We'll never forget.
Golly, that's good on me.
Go to move!
We want to be honest, yeah?
Crying like a little bitch.
I've never met a fucking swank that can fight me.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep. You're a fucking bum. You're a fucking asshole.
Grumpo fucking Steltskin.
But allegedly, Oscar Rivas has failed a test.
7-year aim. 7-year aim.
I will fucking smash fucking you.
I hope you fucking die.
Be safe.
I love boxing silence, as simple as that.